Modify the name of the fruit. All members of the 100 Beasts are Phantom Beasts. Author, Life as Day. Synopsis. Don't Locate and Garpsu traveled to the world of pirates and became a member of the crew of the 100 Beasts. Knowing that Luffy would awaken Kiko and defeat Kaido's, he decided to run away. At this time, the fruit modification system was awakened. You can modify the name of the fruit, and change any devil fruit into a Newman species. The person who has been modified will be 100% loyal to him, and he will also get the talent and power of the modified person. Modify your own fruit first, and change the ordinary bat fruit into the form of the Udman's black-winged demon. The war started on the top. The beast group joined the war, and the Navy and the Whitebeards were shocked. All of you Phantom Beasts, Fire Calamity, Udman's species Fengshin Pterodactyl, Plague Quinn, Udman's Dairaji, Droutjack, Udman's Groudon, Zendarunti, Udman's Igulu, Nami, Udman's Bunny Rabbit. Kaido, you play me? The yellow monkey showed off. Actually, I'm also a Phantom Beast. Hancock's Showdown, I'm also a Phantom Beast. Sengoku, play me? Chapter 1. Unlucky. How did you cross the pirate world and become a pirate who could die at any time? Suyu scratched his head in pity. 10 minutes ago he was still at home to enjoy Tifa's new work, and 10 minutes later he came to this fantasy world. Nautical world. A mixed place of pirates, navies, world governments, Draco, and the Goming army. Watching anime must be very hot. Luffy defeated the enemy all the way, and then became One Piece step by step. But as the manga unfolds later, the seemingly bloody seafaring adventure has changed. Pirates do not represent justice. They are extremely vicious. They burn and plunder. They do no evil. They are the evil among the wicked, and the pirates who truly seek freedom are few and pitiful. The justice of the naval representatives is not pure. Some people say that they are the lackeys of the Draco, and some people say that they maintain the order of the foundation of the sea, and the praise and criticism are mixed. The Jming army seems to be just, but in fact it is very pitted. After they set off the country's dissatisfaction with the world government, they turned around and left, leaving the country with a confused face to be suppressed by the world government. Decades have passed, and the Jming army has not made any achievements. The world government has decayed, and the Draco people pride themselves on being gods, believing that they are superior to others and fundamentally rotten. The pirates represented by Luffy were fairly righteous in the early stages, and they cannot be said to be pirates, but only that they are adventure groups. Later, in order to save Ace, he released countless pirates who pushed into the city, and Luffy changed from an adventurer to a real pirate. It is even said that Luffy indirectly caused only a lot more killing than the Four Emperors regiment. Crossing such a dangerous world can lose your life at any time, and it is a headache to think about. The former owner of this body went to sea for the treasure, accidentally hit and knocked down, and joined the 100 Beasts Pirate Regiment. The 100 Beast Pirate Regiment, fortunately not the Big Mama's Pirate Regiment, although the environment is not as good as the Whitebeard Pirate Regiment and the Red-Haired Pirate Regiment, but the advantages are also obvious. Cute people only value strength, do not care about age. As long as the strength is strong enough, you can get the status and power you deserve. Suyunion nagged, and all kinds of news from the 4 Imperial Regiment flashed in his mind. Suddenly, the memory of the predecessor poured out, and Suyu was stunned. Originally, there were only 3 emperors. Now the red-haired Shanks had not yet become the emperor of the seas. In other words, there are still a few years before Luffy flies out to sea. A few years. The time is too short. Don't look at Luffy flying out to sea for more than 3 years to defeat Doflamingo and Katakuri. He is the protagonist and has an aura of luck. Normal people, it is impossible to progress so fast. On the Ghost Island, Kaido knocked down Luffy many times, but Luffy stood up again and again. The first time he was knocked down, Luffy realized that the armed color overlord Chichisura can do internal destruction. Knocked down for the second time, Luffy realized that the overlord color was domineering. This is the top application of the overlord color, and only a very few strong people in the sea can master it. The third time he was knocked down, Luffy awakened the demon fruit, which was also his most outrageous opening, and the Superman rubber fruit directly changed into the animal-based Esper species Nika form. Incarnate as the sun god and press Kaido to fight. In the past life, when Suyu saw this, people were confused, and he could understand the opening and hanging. After all, the Whirlpool Naruto next door and a Twitter were also opened, but like Luffy, who overturned all the previous settings and restarted the settings, it was still the first time. The Esper species had special powers, and he knew very well that a green dragon form like Kaido's fish fruit Esper species could control the power of wind and fire. The Warring States Esper species Great Buddha form can emit shockwaves. Margau's Esper species, the undead bird, possesses healing flames. Luffy's animal line, Esper species, Nika form, at first did not have any animal system characteristics, unlike other Esper species can be transformed, exactly the same as the rubber fruit. After the fruit awakens, it becomes an Esper species, and the setting is different from other Esper species. It should be said that it is worthy of the protagonist's aura, or that Luffy forcibly opened and hung it. Thinking that Analu was killed by rubber, and it turned out that Luffy was not a rubber man, but a Nika person of the animal department. Suyu wanted to laugh. Of course, the most hilarious thing is that Ace blocked a punch from the red dog for the sun god Luffy when he was fighting on the top. After death, if Ace knew that Luffy was the sun god, would he directly come back to life? Being in the 100 Beasts regiment, sooner or later you will meet Luffy and confront a protagonist who is forcibly transformed into an Esper species by the Superman department, which is too dangerous to save his life in minutes. Suyu murmured in his heart. Oh, if only I were an Esper species too. Suyu sighed. Of course. He also thought that the number of Esper species was even rarer than the natural system, except for the Esper species that Jobu ate, which did not see any special points. The other Esper species were very strong. Unfortunately, this body had already eaten the devil fruit. It is also a bat form of the most common animal lion fruit. It's not an ancient species, it's not the Esper vampire form of Redfields, it's just a simple bat. The kind of bats that can be found everywhere in dark caves. This fruit is also the reason why he can join the 100 Beast Pirates. Kaido likes animal ability people. Has always wanted to form an army of animal system ability. He thinks that animal fruit is the strongest. Bats are not strong, but they have wings and can fly, which is good in the ordinary animal system. Ding detected the host's strong desire for Esper species. Now bind the system. Binding successful. Congratulations to the host for being the only host of the system. Suyu was overjoyed, and he actually awakened the system. What's your role? Back to the host. The system can help you modify the devil fruit. Modify any demon fruit into an Esper species. The type of Esper species cannot be selected, and depending on its original fruit, a similar Esper species fruit will be formed. Modifying the fruit requires modification points, and modification points are obtained by increasing prestige. After listening to the explanation of the system, Suyu understood all the functions of the system. First, the system can modify superhuman, common animal and ancient species, as well as natural fruits, into Esper species. Second, not only can you modify your own demon fruit, but you can also modify other people's demon fruit. Those who have been modified to modify the demon fruit will be 100% loyal to Suyu, even if Suyu lets them die. They will not hesitate. Third, Suyu can extract the talent or ability of the modified demon fruit person. Fourth, there are many kinds of Espers, which may be mythological creatures, or they may be super creatures in the anime that Suyu has seen in the past life. Chapter 2. The first point alone is powerful enough. Esper species are very powerful, with special abilities. The only drawback is that they are scarce. The number of superhuman and animal abilities is not small, and if you convert them into Esper species, Suyu could form an army of Esper species, and at that time, no white-bearded pirate regiment, navy, and world government could stop his ambitions. System: how much prestige and the modification points do I have now? Host: Suyu. Strength: New World minions. Item: none. Ability: animal bat form. Follower: none. Prestige: 10. Bonus 1 modification point when prestige breaks through 100. By analogy, a double-digit breakthrough to 3-digit numbers rewards a little modification point, and a 3-digit breakthrough of 4 digits rewards a little modification point. Modification points: 2. 1 modification point modifies the demon fruit ability once. Listen to the system: when his reputation value has accumulated to a certain extent, he can open the lottery function. You will then be able to earn modification points and other rewards through the lottery. He currently has 10 prestige points, which he got because he joined the 100 Beasts. Prestige values from 0 to single digits reward a little modification point, and single-digit breakthroughs reward a little modification point. System: change my fruit abilities. Suyu said secretly in his heart. Ding detected that the host currently has a little modification value, and began to modify the fruit ability. Boom boom. Suyu's heart was beating rapidly, the blood was flowing rapidly, and his whole body was full of strength. The muscles expanded, the bones became harder, and the skin was tough, many times tougher than cowhide. He developed a feeling that he could kill Kaido with one punch. Of course, he knew that this was an illusion that had arisen after the power had soared too quickly. He's still a long way from Kaido. Kaido's strength may not be the strongest, but his vitality and endurance are the strongest in the seafaring world. Whitebeard couldn't kill him, which showed how much Kaido resisted beating. This power, so strong. Suyu sighed darkly. Ding, congratulations to the host for its successful ability to modify the fruit. Get the animal bat fruit, Esper species, black-winged demon form. The sound of the system sounded in Suyu's head, and Suyu was stunned. It turned out to be the power of Alquiola. The fourth of the 10 blades of the god of death, with high personal charm and super strength, is the only existence in the 10 blades that can open the second stage of the return blade. Pressed a Twitter for a long time, but unfortunately a Twitter had a plug-in, turned on the bull's head mode and killed Alquiora to death. Suyu shook his fist. No wonder he just felt his skin become harder. This should be Alquiola's steel-skinned ability. Able to resist the attack of a sword, the skin is like steel. Alquiola's steel skin can easily resist Kisuke Urahara's initial attack, and can also use his hands to resist the crescent sky in Kurosaki's Yakugo state. His steel skin could not yet reach the level of Verquiola, but as he developed the Blackwing Devil Fruit, sooner or later, his steel skin would be comparable to Thatchalonga. System, can I also return to the blade in 2 stages? Suyu asked in his heart. Yes, you'll also get all of Ulquiorra's abilities. Once the host has gained full Ulquiorra's powers, new O-ring stabilities can be activated. You can also get the power of other Esper species. Suyu was overjoyed, and the system was really powerful, so that he had the confidence to dominate the seafaring world. As for the 100 beasts, it was just a springboard for him. With the help of the system, sooner or later he will take over Kaido and become the master of the 100 beasts. Since he has come to this chaotic world, why not go up against the wind and enjoy this era of rampage? I don't know if my steel skin is strong, or Big Mama's steel skin is strong, Suyu murmured. Ha ha ha, Gremlin. What are you talking about? Laugh me to death. Sharp laughter rang out, and not far away, a pirate with a knife scar on his face laughed. He had learned lip language, and by observing the changes in Suyu's lips when he murmured, he knew what Suyu was talking about. The pirate next to the scarred pirate was curious. What did that little devil say? He's comparing his own skin to his mother's skin. Which is stronger? Scar Pirate said. The other pirates laughed. Who is Big Mama? Not a single one of those present was unaware. One of the emperors of the sea, the captain of the Big Mom pirate regiment, the queen of all nations, is powerful like a monster. With a bounty of 4,388 million berry, she is the only woman among the emperors of the seas, extremely talented, known as the Steel Balloon, with skin that can block knife and gun attacks. It is rumored that the Big Mother grew up from childhood to adulthood, and there was not a single scar on her body, and no attack could hurt her. Even if the attack entangled the armed color domineering, it could not hurt the Big Mother. A small trainee crew member still dare to speak wildly. If your skin can match that of Big Mama, I'll eat Ghost Island. A long-legged pirate said dismissively. Comparable to the skin of the Big Mother, that is also a monster. The monster cannot have no reputation. He is just bragging. A natural monster like Big Mama. There is only one person in the whole world. Scar Pirate picked up 2 bowls of red bean soup and walked over to Suyu. Boy, after drinking these 2 bowls of red bean soup, we can treat what you just said as if you didn't hear it. This is the red bean soup prepared for Quinn, who is one of the big boards of the 100 Beasts Pirate Regiment, with the title of Plague. Quinn likes red bean soup very much, and once he doesn't drink red bean soup, he will be very angry. Even his mother dares to fight. Although he was not as reckless as Jack, the king of the ship, he was similar. Chapter 3. Suyu's eyes were cold, and he said coldly, "You, drinking these 2 bowls of red bean soup through your nostrils, I can forgive you for the ignorant offense you just had." He easily guessed the intentions of the Scar Pirate, and now that he was unwise to fight with Ki, he still needed to use the 100 beasts to become stronger. The scarred pirate's face gradually darkened, and his anger burned, and he wanted to teach this new trainee crew member who did not obey the orders a lesson. "Let me teach you the rules of the pirate world." Crash! 2 bowls of red bean soup were spilled on the ground, and the bowl was broken into 8 petals. "Ara, why didn't you catch it? Did you deliberately want to get Lord Sequin's red bean soup?" Scar Pirate smiled sinisterly. There is no fairness in the world of pirates, and the words of the strong are the truth. The weak can only adapt to the strong. He is stronger than Suyu, so you can frame Suyu at will. Little devil, if you do this, you will anger Lord Quinn. The Scar Pirate saw Suyu's calm and self-assured look and wondered in his heart. Isn't he afraid? This is Lord Quinn's red bean soup. If you provoke Lord Quinn, no one will be able to save him unless Governor Kaido comes forward. Or is it stupid? Didn't react. The Scar Pirate stretched out his hand and patted Suyu's shoulder. "Hey, Gremlin, what are you thinking?" Bang! A slender arm grabbed the wrist of the scarred pirate. "What are you calling?" Suyu's eyes were cold. The Scar Pirate burned with rage and yelled angrily, "Let go of me." He exploded in strength and tried to withdraw his arm. "But I found that my arm was not moving." "Wrestling? Gremlin. When I went to sea, you're still playing with mud." The Scar Pirate was furious and exploded with full force. But his arm remained motionless. "Impossible. How old are you? How can there be such a strong force?" "I'm an official crew member of the 100 Beasts Pirate Regiment." "You're just a trainee crew member," Scar Pirate shouted, but his anger and shouting could not change the gap in strength. Gradually, a sharp pain came from his wrist. Suyu's immense power almost crushed his wrist. "Is that the level of the regular crew?" "Too weak," Suyu said lightly. Looking at his understated appearance, you can see that he did not use his full strength. "Damn, you forced me." The Scar Pirate drew a long knife with his other hand. The Scar Pirate did not hesitate at all, nor did he have the intention of sparing his men, and the long knife slashed straight at Suyu's neck. Boom! Makes a metallic crashing sound. Suyu's neck was intact. His long knife can't cut into it. "Only this little bit of strength?" Suyu sneered. "Monsters." "You are a monster." The Scar Pirate was afraid, and the tiger's mouth was shocked with blood because it was too hard. He raised the knife to take a closer look, and found that there was an opening in his long knife. How can someone's skin be harder than a long knife? The onlookers were dumbfounded, and the direction of the plot was completely different from what they expected. Originally thought that Suyu could not support a few moves in the hands of the Scar Pirate. He would be humiliated by the Scar Pirate, and then killed by the angry Lord Quinn. Unexpectedly, Suyu actually had such a strong strength. The sword scar pirate was weak in front of him like an ant, and the long knife slashed on the neck, leaving no scars. Such a strong trainee crew. Is it a genius like Lord Runeyuan? There were pirates muttering. It is impossible. He is no better than Lord Runeyuan, although Lord Runeyuan is only 17 years old, but he already has not weak strength. Lord Quint said that she is not more than 2 years old. She will definitely become a real fight. In the future, it is even more likely to become a big kanban. This little devil looks only 15 or 16 years old. Very young, probably the same age as Rooney, an adult. This time Scarface has met a cruel person. This little devil is not a good stubble, and he will certainly not let him go easily. Didn't you find that the knife in Scarface had an opening? This kid really blocked the sword with his skin. Not bragging. Hiss, terrible newcomer. Everyone was talking about it, but they still had some doubts about whether Suyu was as talented as Ling-a-ling. After all, there is only one steel balloon in the whole sea. That's the rule of pirates, but that's it. Suyu calmly looked at the face of the scarred pirate. Arm force. With a click, the knife scar pirate's wrist shrugged down, and the bone was crushed by him. Whoops. The long knife fell to the ground, and the scarred pirate clutched his injured wrist with his other hand and let out a miserable howl. Damn. You dare to do it to the official crew. Aren't you afraid of being punished by Boss Kaido? The scar pirate's forehead was covered with cold sweat, and the sharp pain made his face twist and his eyes were bitter, as if he were a demon from hell. Boom. Suyu grabbed the neck of the scar pirate and slowly exerted force. Kaido doesn't have such rubbish as you in his eyes. Suyu did not bring honorifics, because he knew Kaido's was informal, and did not care about the confrontation of his subordinates. Chapter 4. Kaido is a very talented person. As long as he shows enough strength, Kaido will find a way to recruit. The huge force made it difficult for the scar pirate to breathe. His feet were kicking wildly in the air, his face was red, his eyes were covered with blood, and an intact hand grabbed Suyu's fingers, trying to hold his hand open. Let go of me. The scar pirate snorted hard. Gah. The bones were broken, the knife-scarred pirate's eyes lost their luster, and the head was weakly pulled down, completely losing its vitality. Suyu casually threw it away, throwing the corpse of the scarred pirate in front of a group of pirates. It's a warning that he's in Laiwai. Pirates are not a family game, thinking that there will be mutual help, a beautiful and fair environment. No. Pirates are cruel, fierce, cold. The strong are respected. The weak must serve the strong, especially the 100 Beasts Pirate Regiment, which respects strength. From the moment he crossed, Suyu was ready to be an evil person. This is not Luffy's Straw Hat Pirate group that pays attention to friendship, nor is it a red-haired pirate group that pays attention to brotherhood, nor is it a white-bearded pirate group that pays attention to family affection. This is the 100 Beasts Pirate Regiment that focuses on strength. Cowardice and kindness will kill him. Only by showing fierceness and strength can we deter those pirates and make them dare not easily provoke. The predecessor is already wanted by the Navy, free from the 100 Beasts Pirate Regiment, and may be arrested by the Navy at any time. He had no other way to go, only one way to go to black. Suyu raised his head, and he sensed a powerful breath approaching. Kaido, or Big Kanban or real hit? Suyu muttered in his heart. There was a commotion in the pirate group, and many of them gave way, and from the road gradually appeared a 6-meter-tall, bald man, wearing sunglasses, purple lips, a golden braid on his head, fat, and wearing a black and white vertical stripe. The left hand contains a mechanically modified prosthesis with 2 golden beards, a golden ponytail behind the head, sunglasses tied by 2 ropes, and 2 long knives at the waist. Lord Quinn is coming. Get out of the way. Don't stand in the way of Lord Quinn. Quick, that red bean soup comes. Lord Quinn wants to drink red bean soup. The comer is the Plague Quinn, one of the 3 major disasters. Bounty, 1.32 trillion berry. It is the dragon fruit, ancient species, wrist dragon form ability, like to graduate weapons, claim that everywhere you go, there will be outbreaks of plague, so it got the title of Plague. He is the confidant of the 100 Beasts Kaido, with strong resilience and extremely tenacious vitality, extremely high defense, able to stand up after hard contact with Charlotte Ling-a-ling's attacks, and still looks unscathed after being attacked by Margao many times. When Quinn arrived, he was keenly aware of the spilled red bean soup on the ground. Suddenly, Quinn's body surface emitted a purple momentum, very terrifying, and the pirates around him all showed a look of fear. Who spilled the red bean soup on the ground? Quinn spoke with anger. Quinn is not domineering, but the momentum is enough to deter the weak pirates. Boom. It's over. Boss Quinn is angry. We're not going to die. One of the pirates whispered. Quinn turned his head, leaned down, and stared at the little pirate tightly. Say, who spilled my red bean soup? Isn't it you? No, it's not me. Boss Quinn. The pirate trembled. His body trembling, almost scared to death by Quinn. He spilled it. Suyu's voice came. Quinn looked down at the sound and saw the pirates dead on the ground. What did he spill? So why did he die? Quinn condensed. He spilled red bean soup, so I killed him. Suyu said coldly, not humble, not showing any fear. It was as if the person in front of him was not the notorious Plague Quinn, but an ordinary pirate. Quinn was a little surprised that Suyu was not afraid of him at all. Looking up and down at Suyu, his tone was somewhat relaxed. Is that really what he said? That's right, Boss Quinn. It's the guy who died on the ground who spilled your red bean soup. Yes, we all saw it. The surrounding pirates echoed the road. Quinn nodded, believing Suyu's words. You're a trainee crew member. That's right. Suyu nodded. It's rare for a trainee crew to hit a regular crew member, Quinn said. Generally, the trainee crew is recruited by the 100-beast pirate regiment to a certain place, and the strong ones will be directly given the position of official crew. If you have strong strength, you will become a regular crew member when you join the regiment. Chapter 5. Boy, are you a demon fruit power? Quinn hissed as he sat in the large chair of drapes that the pirates had prepared in advance. He lit a cigar and took a sharp sip. The small eyes hidden under the sunglasses observed Suyu. Yes, I am capable, Suyu frankly admitted. This matter could not be hidden, and when he got on the ship, the 100 Beasts pirate regiment had already registered. Every demon fruit ability was recorded. Suyu did not admit it, and Quinn only needed to check it carefully to find it. What ability? If Suyu is a capable person, it is not surprising that he can defeat the official crew. The weaker the strength, the greater the boost brought about by taking the demon fruit. Boss, he's an animal bat fruit ability. A pirate chimed in. He was the one who recruited Suyu into the pirate regiment and had seen Suyu's ability. Hearing that it was the animal department, Quinn smiled, and the 100 Beasts group liked the animal department the most. Unfortunately, it was not an ancient species. If it was an ancient species, he might be able to become a real fighter. Good boy. From today on, you are the official crew. Hope you can get stronger soon. Quinn didn't bother with the spilled red bean soup. Compared to 2 bowls of red bean soup, an animalistic ability person is more valuable. The other apprentice pirates who had joined the 100 Beasts regiment with Suyu looked at him enviously. After becoming an official pirate, being able to participate in the banquet held by Kaido is even a little face for the strong people on the sea. Directly became a regular crew member, so envious, he will not have to work with us in the future, can enjoy every day. A young pirate murmured, his words full of envy. Don't think about it, he ate the demon fruit, even the most ordinary animal demon fruit. He could easily become a regular crew member. We want to be full crew members, we have to wait for the opportunity to show our heads. Another trainee crew member shook his head. As luck would have it, the demon fruit is worth 100 million at the lowest, and I might have sold it for money. Quinn led a group of pirates to the set stage and began singing and dancing. He is a very strange person, a little out of tune, likes to have fun, loves to dance, and will gather a group of pirates to watch him perform every once in a while. Suyu fell into deep thought, and sure enough, ordinary animal lines could not attract Quinn's attention. This was also expected by him. There is no fruit of garbage, only users of garbage. The credibility of this statement is not high. In the past life, many people took Luffy as an example, defeating many powerful pirates with the ordinary rubber fruit of the Superman system, and the result was that Luffy was an Esper species, not a Superman. Or the top being in the Esper species. Each fruit holds demonic power, and it will certainly get stronger and stronger as it develops, which is a point of indisputable. But fruits that are strong from the beginning are certainly easier to gain strength than fruits with low points, such as natural fruits such as thunder fruits, magma fruits, and sparkling fruits, which are stronger than developed jacket fruits and whisper fruits, even if they are not developed. There is no drop talent like Carp and Roger, and the limit of eating the fruit of the ordinary animal line is the level of the jailer beast. Even the 100 Beasts regiment couldn't really fight. Suyu looked up at Quinn with a squint in her eyes. System, what are the conditions for modifying the fruit of Quinn? Suyu asked in his heart. He has not forgotten that the system says that the person who has been modified will be 100% loyal to him. With this, he was able to encroach on the 100 Beasts while strengthening the 100 Beasts. The powerful Quinn was naturally his goal. After modifying Quinn's demon fruit, how far can Quinn's strength climb? General backup, or is it a general? The host only needs to place his hand on Quinn's body for 10 minutes to modify Quinn's demon fruit ability. 10 minutes? A bit long. In his current position, there was no reason to contact Quinn for 10 minutes. Is there a way to shorten this time? As the host's strength increases, the time required to modify the demon fruit will gradually decrease. All right. It seems that Quinn's demon fruit ability cannot be modified for a short time. Golem tilde. A sound came from his stomach. Suyu patted his stomach and modified the demon fruit ability. His physique was many times stronger, consuming a lot of energy, and his body urgently needed to replenish energy. Someone provoked him just now, and he forced himself to hold back his hunger. Now hunger is coming out again. Come. Suyu beckoned to a trainee pirate. The trainee pirate approached him cautiously. Lord, is there anything wrong? Go, get me some food, preferably meat, the more the better. Suyu ordered unceremoniously. The rules of the 100 Beasts regiment are simple and rude, and the trainee crew is working, which belongs to the coolie. Regular crew members are free to spend their time before they are appointed. Yes. The trainee pirates ran to prepare food for Suyu. Chapter 6. Soon, a large amount of food was brought in by the trainee crew, mostly meat, and some rice, piled together for a full 2 meters high. Suyu transformed into the dry rice king and began to feast heavily. The food in front of his eyes was rapidly decreasing, and at this moment, Suyu understood why Luffy was so able to eat them in the past life anime. After the strength is strong, the appetite is naturally larger, the teeth are hard as iron, even the bones can be crushed. Naturally not afraid to choke, can continue to swallow food. Boom. The trainee pirate who brought food to Suyu swallowed and was very surprised. This is my 3-day meal, so soon it will be gone. His strength is more than just what is revealed. One of the pirates whispered. The amount of food can sometimes prove strength. 20 minutes later, the 2-meter-tall food had all entered Suyu's stomach. His stomach didn't bulge, it was still flat. The other child pirates were dumbfounded, curious to watch. 6 full, Suyu muttered. These foods didn't fill his cell's energy needs. He wants more energy, make up for the deficit caused by cell strengthening. In this way, he could carry out the next cultivation and become stronger. Otherwise, the cells are in a deficit state, and the exercise effect is half the work. Suyu beckoned to the trainee pirate. Another one? The trainee pirate wants to cry without tears. Why do you want him to prepare for the second time? There are clearly a lot of trainee pirates on the scene. However, he did not dare to disobey Suyu's orders, and after a sound, he ran to prepare food for Suyu. Suddenly, a pirate jumped up behind Suyu's back. Go and die. Give my eldest brother a funeral. The pirate held a spear in his hand and stabbed Suyu into the eye. Since the sword could not hurt Suyu's skin, then he would be able to break through the defense when he attacked Suyu's vulnerable parts. The eye is one of the most vulnerable parts of the human body, and once injured, it can bring severe pain. The spear pierced into the eye, and it was also possible to penetrate Suyu's head. Syllable. Suyu took control of the man with his left hand, and the sharp spear tip could not break through the defense on his palm. With gentle force, the pirate was lifted in midair. It's too weak. Your breath is too obvious. Even if I don't see or smell the domineering, I can easily perceive your position. After modifying the demon fruit, Suyu's sensory acumen was greatly improved, forming an effect similar to seeing and hearing. It is not as good as the top of the sight and night to foresee the future, but it's pretty much the same as what you've seen and heard. Suyu's arm shook, and the pirate was thrown away, and then smashed heavily on the mountain. Boom. A humanoid depression appeared on the mountain. The pirates who had sneaked up on Suyu let out a cry of pain, and the bones of their bodies seemed to crack. Damn. Eldest brother, I can't avenge you anymore. The pirate gritted his teeth and said, You and the pirate are brothers? Suyu raised an eyebrow and asked casually. Yes, and how? You killed my big brother. Whatever method you use in the future, I'm going to kill you too. The pirate stared at Suyu with a venomous look in his eyes. It can be predicted that if he lives today, he will definitely use all sinister and disgusting tricks to kill Suyu. Suyu swept the spear, arched his arm, and threw it out very casually. Unfortunately, you don't have a future. The spear turned into a galloping arrow, and with a shockwave nailed the pirate to the mountain. A large hole appeared in the pirate's chest. His eyes gradually became unfocused, and his head shrugged weakly. Half of the spear was nailed into the mountain, which showed how strong Suyu's strength was. Some pirates carefully ran to the mountain, grasped the spear and pulled it out forcefully. The spear pattern does not move. Tightly embedded in the mountain. Such a strong strength. I have been training in the 100 Beasts Regiment for 8 or 9 years, but I can't even pull out the spear he threw out. The power of the devil fruit is really dazzling. If only I had that power. Don't dream, he has this strength, partly because of the demon fruit, and partly because he is also a monster. There is another monster in the 100 Beast Regiment. Not long ago Runiyuan Dakai became a real fighter, and now there is a monster that is not weaker than Lord Runiyuan. The pirates around them talked a lot, and the look in Suyu's eyes changed from a small glance at the beginning to a current envy and awe. Powerful people will naturally be feared by others. Suyupan sat on the ground, and when he heard several people mention Zendaran, he guessed that it was not far from Luffy out of the sea. When Luffy and Teacher Kai fought, Runiyuan was only 22 years old, and her talent could not be compared with the monsters in the protagonist group, but it was also very amazing. The 22-year-old bounty of 400 million Baileys can also compete with Luffy for a few moves, which shows that Runiyuan's talent is very good. For example, the smoker Smorgoni became a vice admiral at the age of 36, and when he fought with Virgo, he was hanged and beaten, and was almost beaten to death, which shows the talent of Runiyuan. Runiyuan has become a real fight, then her brother should also become a real fight in a few years. Suyu whispered. Runiyuan's younger brother Peggy-1 was 20 years old when Luffy fought Kite Teacher, and the reward was 290 million Bailey, which was much weaker than Runiyuan and was probably the weakest person in the real fight. I don't know if Ace has gone to see the other side. Dancing on stage, Quinn witnesses Suyu's battle through sight and smell. Is it really an ordinary bat fruit? Doubts arose in Quinn's mind. Bat fruit should not bring so much power to the user. Ordinary bat fruits tend to be agile and can fly, and their strength is relatively weaker than that of other animal fruits. Is it? Does he have a monster-like talent? Thinking of this, Quinn bowed to one of the pirates and asked, Is there anything special about that little ghost? Special place? I didn't find it before. Ordinary, no highlights. But before Boss Quinn came, he fought a pirate with a sword slashed in the neck but was not injured. The pirate said to the class. Quinn's eyes lit up. This talent seemed familiar. The big aunt who is the same as Kaido's boss has such a talent. The skin is as hard as steel, and as tough as cowhide. It is difficult to hurt the mother no matter what the attack. Even if his talent is not as strong as that of his mother. He is very powerful and rare, so if he cultivates well, he may be able to cultivate another true fighter and become a flying six. Quinn thought silently. Kaido has always wanted to gather 6 powerful true fighters, create flying six, and act as a senior cadre of the 100 Beasts pirate regiment, but the strength of true fighting is strong and weak, which makes Kaido very dissatisfied. The plan was that the strength of the Flying Six would be equal to that of the captain of the Whitebeard pirate regiment, and once the 2 great thieves regiments were at war, the Flying Six would be responsible for fighting against the low-ranking captain of the Whitebeard pirate regiment. At present, only 3 members of the Flying Hex cells have been gathered, and there are still 3 left. Quinn stopped dancing and jumped off the stage to Suyu, who was eating heavily. After approaching Suyu, he found that Suyu's breath had become stronger again. About twice as strong as just now. How long has it been? He did one dance and he got twice as strong? Monster. Definitely a monster. Quinn's eyes became more and more excited, and Boss Kaido put him in charge of forming flying hexagons, but the personnel had been unevenly assembled, and Boss Kaido scolded him more than once for this matter. Boss Kaido knows I've received a monster and certainly won't scold me. The only pity is that his fruit. The ordinary animal line is still too weak, if it is an ancient species. Quinn reached out and patted Suyu's shoulder, as if on a steel, making him feel more satisfied. What's your name? Suyu. Tomorrow you will go to the Rabbit Man area to learn domineering. I found you teacher to teach you, Quinn said. Suyu was slightly surprised. He was still thinking about how to learn the 2-color domineering, but he did not expect that Quinn took the initiative to send the 2-color domineering. The importance of domineering in the pirate world is self-evident, but all the strong people have cultivated domineering to a very high level. Without mastering the domineering spirit, in the new world, even the minions are not counted. Who? Runeyuan. Don't underestimate her if you think she's a woman. She's not much older than you, but she's already mastered the 2-color domineering. Quinn condensed. Starting tomorrow. The minimum daily is 15,000, as long as you don't die, you will write in death. Quack. Chapter 7. Suyu readily agreed that Runeyuan's potential was very good and was also on his list of transformations. Boy, I'll give you half a year, and if you don't get your 2-color domineering starter in half a year, you'll work in the mines later. Quinn's face suddenly changed, and he calmly warned Suyu. The 100 Beast Regiment does not need waste, and half a year of learning will not be 2-color domineering, which means that Suyu's potential is just like that. It wasn't worth his cultivation. I understand. I hope you don't let me down. Quinn stared at Suyu Liang for a long time, then turned to leave. The next day, Suyu rushed to the Tudor area, where there were people who had been caught by the 100 Beasts for various reasons, and they mined ore here every day, and it was better to live than to die. Runaway, inexistent. Workers who are pressed into the mining here are shackled and handcuffed, and those who are able to carry torture devices that inhibit the fruit. The mine will be surrounded by the official crew of the 100 Beasts, and if any criminal wants to escape, he will be suppressed by the pirates of the 100 Beasts in a very short time. In addition to the regular crew, there are several statues responsible for deterring criminals. Runeyuan is one of them. Now she has not yet become a flying hexagon, just an ordinary real fighter. As soon as he saw Runeyuan, Suyu's eyebrows were slightly raised, and Runeyuan was bigger than he thought. Runeyuan wears a white vertical pattern top and a short skirt with light blue. Her hair is blue, mixed with some pink, and she has only a strand of white hair on her forehead and her eyes are pink. Wearing a blue bow and cape, he wears a short light blue skirt and red high heels, 2 bull horns on his head, and his chin is blocked by a flower-like mask. In the past life anime, Runeyuan never took off the mask. She seems to like to wear a mask. Suyu looked at Runeyuan, and Runeyuan was also looking at Suyu. 2 meters 8 tall. Well, much taller than her. She's only 1 meter 7. She needed to look up to see Suyu's face. He looked only 15 or 16 years old, and 2 meters 8 was certainly not his limit. Listen to Boss Quinn. You have a talent similar to Ling-a-ling? Runeyuan took the lead and spoke. Yes, I call it steel. Suyu's height was very high compared to Runeyuan, but compared to some monsters on the sea, it was not too high at all. Quinn is more than 6 meters, Kaido is 8 meters, and Jack, the king of the ship, is more than 8 meters taller than Kaido. The 3 admirals of the navy are all above 3 meters. Suyu's 2-meter-tall head was not too prominent. Steel skin but similar to Ling-a-ling's steel balloon name. I don't know how your potential compares to Ling-a-ling. Let me try your physique first to see if you are qualified to cultivate domineering. As soon as the words fell, Runeyuan moved, and the leg muscles were forced, instantly coming to Suyu's back, and the long legs swept across, like a sharp axe. Suyu dodged and narrowly dodged Runeyuan's attack. Runeyuan was a little surprised. The action did not stop, and grabbed Suyu's head with both hands. Run-up gun. Suyu's eyes widened. Hey, we're not enemies. Runeyuan's ability is simple and rough, and smashing people with her head is her fighting style. As he went down, even Luffy rolled his eyes. Boom. Their foreheads touched together, making a humming sound. Runyuan let go of her hand, covered her forehead and stepped back. Pain, pain, pain. Is your head made of steel? The little girl hurts so much. I said I had steel skin. The corners of Suyu's mouth twitched, and he reached out and touched his forehead, and found that there was only a little trace, and even the blood did not come out. The power of the Blackwing Demon Fruit was even more powerful than he had imagined. The little girl forgot. Runyuan posed as weak, helpless and pitiful. It's a natural one, Suyu muttered. What do you say? The little girl didn't hear clearly. Nothing. Suyu shook his head hurriedly. Really? Really? He couldn't always say that in his previous life. He knew that Runyuan was a bit natural and cute, and most of the sentences she spoke ended with little girl. System, my fruit is so strong? Suyu was confused. Although Runyuan did not use the armed color domineering spirit in that blow, but the momentum was strong and heavy, Runyuan used the Runter-gun again, and the attack must not be weak. As a result, Runyuan painfully gave up the fight, and he didn't have anything to do. He knew that the Blackwing Demon Fruit was very strong, but it was also too strong. Luffy had just eaten the fruit and was not so strong. Your Blackwing Devil Fruit is a strengthened fruit, with greatly enhanced abilities, immune to demon fruit defects, and not afraid of sea rocks and seawater. The system explains. It turned out to be an enhanced version of the Blackwing Devil Fruit. No wonder his steel skin was stronger than he thought, and he could resist Runyuan's Runter-gun without development. When he developed, wouldn't he be even higher than Ling Ling's defensive power? It is worthy of the system. Then can I eat 2 demon fruits now? No, after the host has developed the demon fruit to the awakened state, it can eat the second demon fruit. Please don't be in a hurry. The Blackwing Demon Fruit brings you not only abilities, but also Ulquiorra's talent. The system replied. Chapter 8. Ulquiorra's talent. As the only broken face among the 10 blades to develop the second stage returned blade, his talent is beyond doubt. Before breaking, he may not be as strong as Stark and Balagang, but after breaking the face, it is not necessarily necessary to have the second stage of the blade. Give Ulquiorra time, he will surely surpass all the 10 blades. Suyu possessed your talent, so how many pieces would his cultivation speed be? If you can dodge my attack, your physique should barely meet the standards, enough to cultivate the armed color domineering. Runyuan released a hand on her forehead, and her smooth white forehead actually appeared scarred, oozing out a little bit of blood. She was also surprised by Suyu's steel skin, this talent. No wonder she would be sent by Boss Quinn to teach her to be armed with color domineering. Although she has just made a real fight, her potential is here, and her status in the real fight is not low. After only a few years of cultivation, he could become a senior cadre of the 100 Beasts Pirate Regiment. Armed color domineering, you know what it is? No, probably. Runyuan stretched out her hand, and the white palm turned into darkness, adding a heavy sense of strength. In simple terms, armed color domineering can enhance its own defense and attack power, like invisible armor, which is also the key to the inability to compete with the ability. The armed color domineering can also attack the natural system, but it will not be like the sea tower stone and the sea water, so that the natural system will be caught, but simply attack the natural system. Generally speaking, armed color domineering is divided into hardening, winding, external release, and internal destruction. These are all skills, non-domineering levels, and the amount and quality of domineering chi depend on the cultivator himself. The most basic use of armed color domineering is hardening, that is, covering the surface of the body with armed colors to increase strength and defense. The second stage is winding, which can wrap the armed color domineering spirit around the weapon and strengthen the sword. The third stage is the release, which can attach the armed color to the bullet, even if the bullet flies out. It also has the armed color domineering sword how can attach the armor color to the flying slash, increasing the ranged attack power. The fourth stage is internal destruction, also known as Ryusura in the Land of Peace, and the first skill that Kai taught Luffy. Runyuan explained the cultivation method to Suyu, and then let him cultivate on his own. I'll be back in the evening, and if there's anything I don't understand, come and find me at night, Runyuan said to him. Suyu did not respond. He was addicted to cultivating armed color domineering, and his spirit was highly concentrated and very focused. Originally, the 4 stages were all skills, not the level of armed color domineering, but because the skill was difficult to break through, most people only stayed in the first stage of cultivating armed color hegemony. And those who can cultivate the second skill will definitely have good talent and stronger strength, so they are mistaken for breaking through the domineering level in order to understand the skill. So, how long will it take for me to cultivate the armed color domineering spirit? Suyu lowered his head and looked at the palm of his hand. It already has a little bit of black on it. Runyuan, who was secretly observing Suyu, was very satisfied with his cultivation attitude. Even if he has very poor talent, with this effort, he will definitely be able to cultivate his domineering spirit within half a year. After observing for a moment, Runyuan did not notice that Suyu was lazy, so she left. Runyuan's home is not far from the quarry. As long as there is any change in the quarry, it is convenient for Runyuan to quickly arrive to suppress the change. As soon as the door opened, Peggy Van appeared in front of him. Peggy One was very excited and shouted, "Big sister, I've cultivated to be domineering. 3 months. It took you 3 months to learn to be domineering. You're still so happy, angry little girl. Run up gun." Boom. Runty grabbed Peggy Van and smashed it down. "No. Sister, don't." Peggy Van hurriedly gathered his armed color domineering spirit to strengthen the defense of his forehead. Even if he used the armed color domineering, his head was still dizzy, and his head seemed to have been knocked by 10,000 sledgehammer wheels. "It hurts, sister. It hurts." Peggy Van touched his forehead and saw blood on his palm. "Sister, I'm going to die." "Panic. That's not your blood," Runiyuan said without anger. "Not mine." Peggy One subconsciously looked at Runiyuan's forehead and found the wound on her forehead. "Sister, how did you get hurt? Is it because I used armed color domineering?" "Wrong. My sister had hit him like this before. But every time he was injured, his sister was never injured." Runiyuan shook her head. "Just by virtue of your armed color, do you still want to hurt my sister me? It's not you who hurt." Who hurt you?" Peggy One was furious on the spot and set out to avenge Runiyuan. Their sister and brother have a very good relationship, and since they were young, they have been adopted by Kaido, and if they want to survive in this cruel 100-beast pirate group, the two must hold the group. Every time she is bullied by other pirates, Runiyuan will stand up to protect Peggy One. Peggy One also remembered that although she sometimes felt chagrin at her eldest sister's funny performance, she would also feel angry that her eldest sister was hurt. It's okay to bully him, but you can't bully Runiyuan. This is Peggy Van's life principle. A new person, to be precise, is not him hurting me, but my own hurting myself. Runiyuan said. Chapter 9. What new person can hurt you, big sister? Peggy One didn't believe it. Runiyuan's strength he knew best, and the armed color domineering chi had already cultivated the winding technique. He was not weak in sight and smell, and his physique was even stronger than his. Her forehead was the hardest part of her body, and the head gun could not even resist herself. Runiyuan's run-to gun just now did not use its full strength, otherwise even if it was covered with armed color domineering, it would faint and lose its combat effectiveness. The bounty has reached 200 million, which is still the bounty left by Runiyuan before eating the demon fruit, and now Runiyuan's strength is definitely stronger. The bounty issued by the Navy does not fully represent strength, often engage in sabotage, and the bounty for people who cause harm to the world government will be inflated, but Runiyuan is not that kind of person. She has been practicing in the country of Wazoo for many years, and accidentally went out with a ship to carry out missions. A monster that seems to have the same talent as Lingling. Runiyuan looked serious. Peggy One's eyes widened. "What? Is it the Lingling I think?" "That's right. The Emperor of the Seas who is on a par with Boss Kaido." "Charlotte Lingling." "My head gun can't hurt him. He was hurt." "Could it be that he used the armed color domineering?" "No, he doesn't know how to arm the color. I just taught him the armed color domineering." Boom. Peggy swallowed, and couldn't help but grit her teeth. What a monster. He mastered the two-color domineering at the age of 15, and was already a genius in the 100 Beasts Regiment, working hard to exercise his physique and becoming a real fighter in a few years. But his talent was far from being a monster. His sister Runiyuan is barely a monster compared to the monsters whose talents exploded, such as Lingling and Kaido Boss. It was far behind. Maybe it's just that the skin is hard, but the cultivation talent is not strong. Peggy even comforted himself in this way. Late afternoon, Runiyuan offered to check Suyu's cultivation progress, and Pagerwin took the initiative to ask me out to go with her. He was eager to see what the monster looked like. "Is this new man like Charlotte Lingling, tall and fat?" Peggy One asked curiously. "Tall, but not obese." Like Runiyuan, Peggy One is very ordinary in height, even very short. The two walked together, and Runiyuan was half a head taller than Peggy One. When they arrived at the mining site, they did not find Suyu's figure. "Big sister, where is the person you are talking about?" "It won't be going back." Peggy One pointed to the clearing in front of him. Runiyuan recalled the way Suyu had worked hard to cultivate before leaving, not like someone who would give up easily. "Maybe he's cultivating around." Peggy even shrugged his shoulders. "Well, I think he feels too bored and has gone back. Cultivation domineering is very boring, especially when there is no entry. The feeling that there is no way to penetrate the mysteries of domineering after racking your brains. It is almost as bad as eating an ordinary fruit that only tastes like a demon fruit." Fortunately, he had awakened his two-color domineering spirit and did not need to experience that kind of pain anymore. Hey, this new person must be very irritable. Cultivation domineering is not wonderful." Peggy One smiled evilly. Boom. Runiyuan knocked on his head, and the paint Peggy One quickly covered his head. "Don't talk nonsense, find someone." "Big sister, you see that many people are gathered around in front of you. Is someone trying to escape from prison?" Peggy even pointed to the left front. "Who dares to break out of jail?" Runiyuan shouted and rushed into the crowd. Who's jailbreaking?" "Lord Runiyuan." "No one is jailbroken," a pirate whispered. "No one has escaped from prison. So what are you doing around here?" Runiyuan questioned. "Someone is cultivating armed color domineering, and we are observing." Runiyuan is full of question marks. Armed color domineering, what to observe? The domineering cultivation is all on its own, and only by looking at it with the naked eye, you can't see anything famous at all. The pirate seemed to see the doubt in Runyuan's heart, so he said again, "My lord, this man is not ordinary. He is trying to arm the internal destruction of color." "What internal destruction? Could it be Lord Embers?" Runyuan said. "There are not many people in the 100 beasts who have mastered internal destruction techniques. Kaido is counted as one, and there are also Embers, Plague Queen and Drought Jack who have not mastered internal destruction." As far as Runyuan knew, there were not many pirates in the sea who controlled internal destruction. "It is a very small minority. It's not a big man, it's a young man." The pirate pointed to the center of the crowd. "A handsome young man." Runyuan looked in the direction pointed by the pirate, and when she saw that familiar and handsome face, Runyuan was confused on the spot. The person in the middle of the crowd who is trying to arm the internal destruction of the color is Suyu. Chapter 10. Some of the prisoners in the mining site were handcuffed with bombs, which detonated as soon as they left the mines. The prisoners imprisoned here do not have enough to eat and wear every day, even if they were not weak and domineering. As they worked in the mining field, their bodies gradually collapsed, and it was difficult to resist the damage caused by the explosion. Walk out of the mining farm and die immediately. If you don't go out of the mining ground, you may have a chance to escape. So the prisoners worked day and night in the mining fields, waiting for an opportunity. Suyu, who was sitting in the middle, held the handcuffs of a prisoner in both hands and concentrated. The hands are wrapped in an armed color domineering, and the prisoner's handcuffs have also partially turned black, which is a sign of the armed color. Runyuan's eyes widened, and her small mouth under the flower mask opened wide, and her heart was shocked. Pagewin also walked over at this time, saw Suyu in the crowd, and couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. "Nice handsome guy." More handsome than him. It was the first time he had seen such a handsome man. "Big sister, what is he doing? Try internal destruction." "Where are the guys who have developed their domineering spirit to this extent?" Peggy was a little surprised. He knew the difficulty of improving the armed color domineering technique. He spent a year, did not learn the armed color winding, and was still in the first stage of hardening. The man sitting on the ground, who looked about the same age as him, had mastered the external release and was learning internal destruction. "I remember Boss Quinn's armed color is still in the extrovert stage," Peggy said somewhat unnaturally. "That's right, neither Boss Quinn nor Jack has mastered the internal destruction. It's really powerful. It looks smaller than me, it's a little bigger." Peggy couldn't help but sigh that there are many monsters in this world. "Big sister, it's time for us to go find the man you said he is." Runchan Unimouth. "Oh, he's Suyu." Peggy was stunned as he spoke. He remembered that the eldest sister had said that the talent had been exposed to the armed color domineering on the first day. From noon to evening, it's only half a day. It's only about 5 hours to be precise. In such a short period of time, the interior that has just understood the armed color domineering is simply not enough to cultivate the armed color domineering. Boom. Peggy swallowed. "Big sister, is it really him?" He knew his eldest sister, and although he usually liked to pretend to be a weak woman and deceive his sympathy, he rarely lied to him in other things. Runyuan nodded with difficulty. Her mood was similar to Peggy Wan's. "Xiao Pei, how long has it taken you to cultivate your armed color domineering spirit?" "It took about 2.5 months to find the armed domineering spirit." Peggy thought for a moment and replied, "It took me 2 months." The sisters and brothers looked at each other, and they couldn't help but grit their teeth. "Too fast. Learning is too fast. I heard that it took Lord Yan a month or so, and Boss Quinn and Jack took 2 months. Runyuan said, "It's too exaggerated. Half a day to cultivate the armed color domineering, but also mastered the 3 major skills. Is trying the final skills?" Could it be because he had been exposed to armed colors before? Peggy was a little incredulous. This speed was too exaggerated, not like the speed that a human should have. "How old do you think he is?" "Similar to me." Peggy is 15 years old and Runyuan is 17 years old. This age is in a stage of rapid growth in strength, and the body will continue to grow with the growth of the body. According to the information given to me by Boss Quinn, he is the same age as you. 15 years old. Only 15 years old. His 15 was clearly different from Peggy's 15. Peggy and Runyuan's parents are old friends with Kaido, so the 2 brothers and sisters have been adopted by Kaido since they were young, and they have long been in contact with the armed color domineering and seeing the domineering spirit in the 100 Beast Pirate Regiment. Under Kaido's intentional cultivation, they have been practicing since the age of 6, and they have achieved today's achievements. In the outside world, the 2 cannot have the power they have now at this age. Even if Suyu had been exposed to the armed color domineering chi before, it was terrifying to be able to cultivate to the level of external release at the age of 15. "Little monster, it's terrible," Peggy muttered. Suyu in the middle put down the prisoner's handcuffs, and then shook his head with some disappointment, and the domineering spirit in his hands gradually receded. There was a lot of buzz around the pirates, most of them schadenfreude. "How can a pirate be happy because you're getting stronger?" "They'll be happy when you weaken." "In the 100 beasts, everyone around you is a competitor." "Failed?" "Also, internal destruction is so difficult, and failure is justified. He is so young, He will certainly be able to grasp the highest skill of armed color domineering in the future. Sigh, really envious. If I had his talent, it would be good, as a teenager, to understand the armed color release. The future would definitely become a big kanban. Runyuan walked through the crowd and walked to Suyu. Have you ever been exposed to armed color domineering before? Nothing. Really? Don't lie to the little girl. I come from a poor and impoverished mountain village, where there is a way to learn to be armed with sex. Suyu laughed. Runyuan was shocked, and it was indeed a monster that had to be reported to Boss Kaido. You've learned to arm the domineering exterior, and I can't teach you the final internal destruction. But rest assured, I'll go to Boss Kaido and help you find a teacher. Runyuan said. Boss Kaido doesn't like the weak in the waist, but he is very tolerant of genius, and those who challenge him to fail. If they show great talent, Kaido will leave it behind, save a life, and wait for them to surrender to the 100 beasts. Sasagi and Makoto is one of them. The amount. I don't seem to say that I didn't learn to destroy internally, Suyu said. Chapter 11. You learned? Runyuan was astonished. I don't know. Have you learned in the end? Don't lie to the little girl. Half of the learning, the amount of domineering, is not enough. Even if you master the skill of internal destruction, you can also use internal destruction. Suyu scratched his head and said, the amount of domineering depends on the strength of the body. For example, Kaido's physical strength is powerful and terrible, and he can constantly cast armed colors, which is one of the reasons why Kaido has become the strongest creature in the sea, land and air. Suyu's talent and physique were not weak, but the cultivation time was too short, and it was still far from the peak. The corners of Runyuan's mouth twitched, which is called learning half. Did Suyu have any misunderstanding about half of the society? She wanted to say something, suppress Suyu's arrogance, and after opening her mouth, she couldn't say anything. In addition to her own domineering spirit, which is stronger than Suyu in quality and quantity, her skills are completely inferior to Suyu. What a monster! Runyuan muttered quietly. Suyu set her eyes on Page 1, with long purple hair and a black and white mask, and like Runyuan's habit of wearing a mask, she did not like to take off the mask. One of the future flying hexagons still became a flying hexagon at the age of 20, and the talent is very good. The animal lineage, dragon fruit, ancient species, Spinosaur form ability, master the two-color domineering. During the battle between Luffy and Teacher Kai, he was defeated by an attack of the angry aunt who was domineering and domineering. He did not lose unjustly, and even when Luffy first met Teacher Kai, he was knocked unconscious by a stick. The four emperors have all mastered the overlord color domineering winding, attacking people whose strength is lower than theirs. It is completely crushed, and it is not surprising that they can defeat them in one blow. The gap between the general and the four emperors lies in the domineering spirit of the overlord color, and because the generals are loyal to the world government, they do not have the heart to become a king in their hearts, and even if they have the qualifications of the overlord color domineering, they cannot awaken. Peggy 1 looked at Suyu. Who brought you in? Those who came in by mistake did not bring in people. Suyu patted Peggy 1 on the head. Peggy 1's size is really not tall, and he and Runyuan have not grown much taller after a few years. Don't touch my head. I'm an old crew member. You're going to call me a senior? Peggy jumped to her feet. Ha ha ha. Suyu laughed and joked. How could he call Page 1 senior? System, how long will it take for me to modify Peggy 1's fruit? Suyu asked in his heart. 10 minutes. Peggy 1 is also 10 minutes? His strength is obviously inferior to Quinn's. Suyu raised an eyebrow. The time to modify the system will only shorten the time due to the increase in the strength of the host, not because the modified person is weak. In other words, the main person is modifying the demon fruit itself, not the modified one. The devil fruit itself is strong and weak, but it is essentially the same thing. The system replied. When can I learn to see and hear domineering? Suyu looked at Runyuan. The plan is 3 months from now, but depending on your situation, you can try it tomorrow. Runyuan's positioning for Suyu in her heart was to learn armed color in 3 months. She didn't expect Suyu's talent to be so outrageous. Mastering internal destruction in half a day is stronger than the talent of Boss Kaido. See you tomorrow. Suyu waved his hand and returned to his residence. He lives in the central region of the land of Washinoku, walks the streets, enjoys the scenery. He is in a good mood, and the armed color domineering is progressing more smoothly than he thought. It should be said that it is worthy of Alquiola's talent. Such a beautiful woman. I have never seen such a beautiful woman. That's the flower of the flower building. She is the most beautiful woman in the land of peace, and there are countless suitors, and even the gentlemen are admiring her. If I can spend a day with Xiaozi, I'm willing to live even if I live for 30 years less. The pattern is small. If you spend a day together, I can die directly. There was a series of exclamations in front of them, and many men were staring at a beautiful figure. Pink love appeared in their eyes, and saliva was about to flow to the ground. Suyu looked at him. His height was higher than the people around him, and he could see the front without stepping on his feet. Hikari, sunshine, is indeed beautiful. No wonder it is called the first beauty. Suyu muttered quietly. She was the daughter of Mitsuki Mita, born on the Moby Dick of the Whitebeard pirates, and Mitsuki Mita was later killed, leaving Mitsuki to send Momonosuke 20 years later. He was rescued by Mitsuki's vassal Kawamatsu and raised. At the age of 13, Hinata left a farewell letter, said goodbye to Kawamatsu, and met the berserker who changed his identity, and with the help of the Mad Death, he incarnated as Hangakokoi, and his reputation spread throughout the country of Wazuno. Even Quinn is a big fan of Little Purple. It can be seen how high her appearance is. However, in Tsuyu's eyes, Xiaozi's value was not as good as that famous sword Yan Devil. Chapter 12. The famous sword Yan Devil, ranked among the 21st workers of the Great Fast Sword, is one of the swords that Mitsuki Mita once used, and it was also this knife that once slashed Kaido. It is said to be a knife that can destroy even hell. This knife will unleash the user's flowing cherry blossoms without authorization, exerting a very powerful force. In other words, it can strengthen the user's own armed color domineering. However, due to the fact that this knife has a very strong sense of self, ordinary people holding this knife will generally be sucked up and die. So far, only Mitsuki Mita had surrendered the sword. Later, Sauron also surrendered the knife. Tsuyu is also very interested in swordsmanship, and Urquiola also has a sword, and his swordplay talent is certainly not low. The key is handsome. Like Hawkeye hook, a knife down, flying slash can even cut through the sea. As for Xiaozi, there is no shortage of beautiful women in the pirate world. Runiyuan, Hankook, Nami, Hinata, and Bakesing are all beautiful women, and when he is strong, he can take as many as he wants. Xiaozi also noticed Tsuyu and smiled at him slightly. For a while, many people were excited in their hearts and mistakenly thought that Xiaozi was smiling at them. Hey Xiaozi smiled at me, she must like me, ha ha ha. I will go back and divorce my wife, and I will marry Xiaozi. Roll. Xiaozi's favorite is obviously me. She was smiling at me just now. You toad, don't try to eat swans. Nonsense. Xiaozi was smiling at me just now. You bunch of garbage can really fantasize. A group of people argued endlessly, and soon a fight broke out. Xiaozi walked through the crowd and locked her eyes on Tsuyu. Nice handsome man. Xiaozi's heart was shaken. Even if she had seen countless men in the flower building, she couldn't help but feel a little strange. Among her guests, there had never been such a handsome person as Tsuyu. It's a pity. He is a member of the 100 Beasts. She was destined to be an enemy of the 100 Beasts. The Blood Sea is full of hatred, and her motivation to survive is to revive the Light Moon family, defeat the 100 Beasts pirate regiment, and retake the Kingdom of Peace. Sooner or later, the two will be on opposite sides. Since you're a member of the 100 Beasts, don't blame me. Little Purple murmured in his heart. This lord. Do you want to listen to music? Xiaozi can play a song for you. Xiaozi lowered her body. Xiaozi has emerald hair, clear eyebrows, dignified behavior, wearing a kimono embroidered with peacocks and wearing gorgeous hair ornaments, looking like a noble lady. It is this temperament that attracts countless men. Kawaii Wind has a long history, and even the men of the pirate world have inevitably inherited the heart of the tyrant. Tsuyu grinned. Very lucky. Please come with me. Xiaozi opened the folding fan to cover the rising corners of his mouth. The pirates of the 100 Beasts should be richer than ordinary people, even if they are not as rich as gentry. They should be similar. Xiaozi led the way for Tsuyu in the front, and countless men's heartbroken voices came from behind. They could not accept the goddess of their dreams, and invited men to listen to music in the flower house. What is the flower building? Normal men know. Some of them only sell art, but only occupy a small part. Most singers have side jobs, and singing is a clear profession. Xiaozi took the initiative to invite men to the flower building to listen to music. What does that mean? On the way, Xiaozi and Tsuyu chatted idly. The adults look very young. They look only 15 or 16 years old. I'm indeed 15 years old. Xiaozi's not in a hurry. 15 years old. It is the time when men are full of fire, and men at this age are best deceived. Just give him a hint and sweetness, and he will give up everything for her. Xiaozi has deceived dozens of people with this method, tried and failed many times, and every time she will deceive the man. In her eyes, the men of the 100 Beasts pirate group are all the way to the goods, and there are only women in their minds. It's really powerful that an adult joined the 100 Beasts regiment at such a young age. I wonder why the adults want to join the 100 Beasts. For strength. Tsuyu said in a strong voice. Formerly known as Treasure to join the 100 Beasts, his goal was strength. With power, you can have everything. In this chaotic and violent world, powerful forces are the fundamentals. Everything else is virtual. People who have money and no power, who may emerge at any time, are defeated and then become dogs that have lost their families. With power, money comes to the door on its own. Xiaozi was a little surprised. She also thought that Tsuyu had become a pirate for money. Pirates love treasure, and it's a well-known thing. Don't adults like money? Little Purple's soft voice. Money? What's the use of having more money? Without power, everything is a mirror flower, a moon, a castle in the air. Tsuyu's eyes glanced at Xiaozi and said lightly, just like the Guanyu family, how rich they are. They control the entire country of Harmony, and the money is inexhaustible. However, they were still seized by the 100 Beasts, and the people of the Mitsuki family were like dogs that lost their families, hiding everywhere in the Kingdom of Peace, living worse than ordinary people. Xiaozi's body stiffened, and his footsteps stopped. standing in the same place. A cold breath climbed up her spine, making her fall into a nice cellar. It's like being in the middle of a glacier. Chapter 13. Boom. Xiaozi swallowed carefully, and the palms of her hands were full of sweat. She was exposed? No way. She was so well disguised. There was also crazy Shiro covering for her, and even Quinn in the black charcoal snake of the 100-beast regiment did not see the flaws. How could it be seen by a little pirate? Inadvertently said. Xiaozi calmed down a little and forced herself to laugh. The concept of adults is completely different from others. I heard that the strength of the Mitsuki family is not weak. Once Mitsuki Mita also injured Lord Kaido, so it can be seen that strength is not necessarily omnipotent. Not weak. The strength of the Mitsuki family is indeed not weak, and the strength of the Mitsuki Mita guy can also threaten Kaido, but he is too stupid. Suyu said unabashedly. There is nothing to hide. When he watched anime in his previous life, he didn't understand what Mitsuki Mita had in mind. The strength is so strong, and the relationship between the Roger Pirate Regiment and the Whitebeard Pirate Regiment, but it is necessary to go head-to-head with Kaido. Isn't that a problem with the head? You said that because he was in the Roger Pirates, he felt ashamed of Whitebeard, so he didn't call Whitebeard. But what about the Roger Pirates? He's kind to Roger Pirates. Without him, Roger would have been able to reach Ralph Drew before the onset of illness. Even though Roger had already turned himself in at that time, he could definitely summon Riley and Jabba, the king of Pluto. In Suyu's concept, his own strength is very important, but he also needs his subordinates to help him deal with some complicated and trivial matters. Oda belongs to the type of person who wants to take care of everything himself. Under the wide sleeves, Xiaozi's fists were clenched, and the person she most admired was her father, Mitsuki Mita, who could not be insulted by others. But the man next to him was a member of the 100 Beasts Pirate Regiment, and once he was exposed, he would be finished. The grown-ups are right. Xiaozi smiled very reluctantly. Suyu shrugged. He didn't want to bully Xiaozi. Just tell the truth. The two soon arrived at the flower building, and Xiaozi was best at shamisen, playing her favorite song to Suyu. The sound of the piano is melodious, pleasant and moving, and pleasant. Suyu's mind relaxed, as if he was in the starry sky of the universe, browsing the brilliance of thousands of stars. While Suyu was resting with her eyes closed, Xiaozi stared at the person who had insulted her father in front of her, and her heart was extremely hesitant. Do you want to take the opportunity to kill him? Soon. Xiaozi shook her head, and she could not reveal her identity yet. We have to wait until the mother says the prophecy. She didn't know that even if she did it, she wouldn't be able to kill Suyu. Runyuan couldn't hurt Suyu with a run-to-gun, just by virtue of Xiaozi. An ordinary woman who hadn't even cultivated domineering, how could she hurt Suyu in the slightest? Moreover, although Suyu's spirit was empty, his body was still in a state of alert, and a little movement would wake him up. For a long time, it was scattered. Xiaozi stopped and looked at Suyu with a smile. Lord, are you satisfied with Xiaozi's performance? Okay, it's good. No wonder Quinn likes you. Adults are different from other pirates. What's the difference? You don't call Key because of the adult, and you didn't bring an honorific title to your previous name. Xiaozi was curious. She could understand whether she could call Lord Quinn. But he's not called Lord Kaido. He's really bold. Aren't you afraid that Kaido will punish him? Kaido was moody, and she knew that. Ha ha ha. Suyu laughed, stood up and walked to Xiaozi's body, and the tall figure blocked Xiaozi's view. Kaido. He wouldn't care about the little things. Xiaozi stroked her hair and said charmingly, do adults think I'm pretty? Very beautiful, not inferior to the female emperor. Suyu nodded in acknowledgement. Xiaozi's appearance is very good, and there are very few women who can compare with her. Oh, adult means, is there anyone as beautiful as Xiaozi? Yes, but you don't know any of those people. No, there's a woman you should know. Suyu suddenly remembered a woman. Whoa. Xiaozi was curious. Among the women she knew, the only person who could compare with her appearance seemed to be her own mother. But Suyu should not have seen his mother. Charlotte Lingling. Lingling? A familiar name, as if I had heard it somewhere. Xiaozi shook her head, not thinking who Lingling was. The Sea Emperor aunt is not inferior to Kaido's monster, and its reputation spread throughout the New World. Although the news of the Kingdom of Peace was closed, through those pirates, Xiaozi had also heard that there were two monsters in the sea that could be compared with Kaido. But he didn't know what Ling Ling looked like. Suyu looked at her quietly. Ling Ling when she was young was very beautiful, but unfortunately she grew crooked and became an obese crazy woman. All day long nervous, even his own children do not let go. Think about it later, maybe you will still have a chance to see her. I have only one purpose for coming to Hual with you this time. Suyu waved a big hand. For what purpose? Demons. Xiaozi suppressed the shock and panic in his heart, and pretended to be indifferent. I can't understand what the adults are saying. You can't understand it, and hopefully you won't understand it when I bring Momonosuke's head up to you. Suyu turned and left directly. Chapter 14. His current strength is not enough. After getting the Yan demon, there is a high probability that he will be devoured by the Yan demon. When his strength is stronger, Yan demon will naturally come into his hands. Believe you're a smart person, Suyu murmured. Yama demon, he wanted it, and he wanted Momonosuke's head too. For that little ghost, Suyu did not have any good feelings. Mitsuki Oda's talent and head were not inherited, and it was useless to leave them. I don't know if Momonosuke has come to the future, so let's find an opportunity to slaughter him later. Flower building. Xiaozi sat paralyzed on the ground. His eyes were empty, and his body was trembling uncontrollably. Don't find out. She was seen through. How did he know that the demon was in my hands? And why did he know about his brother? Could it be that his brother has been arrested by him? The more Xiaozi thought about it, the more frightened she became. Once Momonosuke died, how should the Mitsuki family be revived? Rely on her as a little girl? He knows everything. Why didn't he tell Kaido? There were too many doubts in Xiaozi's heart, and all kinds of doubts pressed on her heart, making her breathless. Quack. The door was pushed open. Xiaozi, what's wrong with you? Sick? An old woman saw Xiaozi's appearance and was very panicked. Xiaozi's the flower queen of the flower building, and there must be no trouble. After the accident, the flower building will be fatally damaged. I'm fine, I just miss my family a little bit, Xiaozi said reluctantly. The old woman sighed and rubbed her head. Child, don't be sad. Your parents are in heaven and will definitely bless you. I hope so. Xiaozi's eyes flickered, thinking about something in his heart. The other side. Ghost Island. Located near the land of Wano, the island of the giant horn in the shape of a ghost is also the place where Kaido lives all year round. At this time, Kaido had just returned from suicide failure, drinking and suffering, tears flowing, and the embers next to him calmly smoked a cigar. He was used to this kind of scene. The suicide failed again. Tons. Kaido took a sip of wine. Ember glanced at the entrance of the cave. My lord, someone is coming. Kaido put down the wine gourd and looked at the entrance of the cave. After a while, a small figure appeared. Runiyuan, what are you going to do? Kaido took a few more sips of wine. Runiyuan's father is good friends with him, and coupled with the high talent of Runiyuan's siblings, Kaido admires her. Even if Runiyuan calls herself by her own name and calls herself stupid, she will not be angry. Boss Kaido, I found a monster. No, it's exactly what Boss Quinn found. Runiyuan shouted. Runiyuan, who was about 1 meter and 7 meters tall, was very thin in front of the 8-meter-high Kaido and the 6-meter-high embers. Even if both of them were sitting, they were much taller than Runiyuan. Runiyuan needs to raise her head to look at the two of them. Monsters? Kaido took an interest and put down the wine gourd. What a monster. There is a talent like Lingerling. His skin was as hard as steel, as tough as cowhide, and even my head gun couldn't break through the defenses, Runiyuan said in a condensed voice. He didn't use armed color domineering? Yan asked. Nothing. Runiyuan's tone was affirmative. Ha ha ha. Not bad. That's great. The next time I see Lingerling, that bastard, I must laugh at her. 100 beasts also have an invincible monster. Kaido was overjoyed, and took a sip of the tun, and then the tears snapped and fell. Great, the 100 beasts have another monster. Runiyuan was speechless and rolled her eyes. Stupid. I'm not done yet. His strongest is not steel like skin. Oh? Does he have strange powers like Lingerling? Ember asked with interest. Charlotte Lingerling's strength is not only her defense, but also the huge force that can break the ribs of the giants at the age of 6. Super strength and super defense form an undead steel balloon, a sea emperor that countless people fear. No, he has no strange powers, but he has a domineering talent beyond imagination. Runiyuan had a complicated look. How strong? How long did it take Lord Ember to cultivate his armed color domineering spirit? About a month. Yan thought about it, and it seemed that he had used it for 32 days. This speed was very fast. Thanks to his race, he could cultivate so fast. He was a remnant of a Lunalia tribe, a clan of gods who once lived on the Red Earth continent. Later, the ancestors of the Draco defeated his ancestors, seized the Red Clay continent, created a world government, and pulled the God One clan off the altar and reduced it to experimental products. He was rescued by Kaido from the World Government Laboratory, and therefore believed that Kaido was his boss. The Lunarians survive in all the environmental conditions of nature, and their talents in all aspects are not weak. What about Boss Kaido? Runiyuan looked at Kaido. Half a month. Runiyuan put up a finger. It only took him such a short time. A month. Similar to me. Good talent. The embers of the fire are praised. Not a month. Runiyuan shook her head. Could it be a year? No, for a year, you won't be called a monster. It won't be a day. Yan was surprised. Runiyuan continued to shake her head. Yan Ember saw Runiyuan shake her head, and the shock in her heart slowly subsided. A day is too terrible. It is certainly not a day. Not that long, I mean half a day, Runiyuan said. What the? Both Yan and Kaido were shocked, and Chi stood up, and a powerful breath was released, forming a wave of air to impact everything around them. Chapter 15. Half a day? Carp couldn't have grasped the armed color domineering so quickly. Kaido said immediately. He had dealt with Carp more than once, and the pain of the other's iron fist smashing into his body made Kaido remember it even more. When it comes to fighting, he is not vain to anyone, even the strongest man in the world today. Whitebeard. In terms of armed domineering, Kaido also had to admit that Carp was indeed the first person. Being able to cultivate the armed color domineering spirit to the point of harming him shows how terrifying Kapu's talent in armed color domineering is. And Carp can't cultivate the armed color domineering spirit in one day. Could it be that he has been exposed to armed color domineering before? Probably not. He's only 15 years old, from a remote place, and when I taught him armed color, he asked a lot of questions, not like he had been exposed to it in advance. Runyuan is young, cannot be seen short, and will not be easily deceived. Yan Yan chose to believe Runyuan's words. Monster, the talent of armed color domineering surpasses Kapu, and has the skin of Lingaling. If you practice hard, your future achievements will certainly not be low, and it is very likely that you will become a being like Carp, or even surpass Carp. Yes, if it's true, his talent is even stronger than Carp's. At least Carp doesn't have Lingaling's invincible defense. Kaido said, Kapu is strong in the armed color domineering and physique, but its own defense is not strong. In the absence of armed color domineering protection, slightly stronger people holding a sharp blade can hurt Carp. Lingling was not at all afraid of the type of sneak attack by Xiao Minutes, who was weaker than her, and the attack could not even leave the scars on her body. What a terrifying guy would be born when the two talents were combined. Ha ha ha. Not bad. That's great. The 100 beasts have one more monster. Well done, Runya. Kaido laughed happily. What do you mean by putting up a finger? It doesn't matter if it's half a day. Yan Yan said. The little girl means that she has mastered the armed color domineering in half a day. A half a day tilde. That's a ridiculous word. The embers of the fire disaster were speechless, and Runyuan was also a little embarrassed, and it was indeed the child raised by Kaido's boss. More or less inherited a little bit of Kaido boss problem. What's that monster called? Suyu. I found out that I joined the 100 Beasts regiment by mistake. Jack had recently been out searching for the animal demon fruit when he encountered a group of pirates who had recruited them, including him. Runyuan said, Jack. Well done. Who Jack? Kaido laughed and cried. He not only mastered the armed color, but also developed the armed color domineering to the point of internal destruction in half a day. Mastering all the skills. Runyuan thought that she had mastered the armed color for several years before she developed the winding technique, and even the external release was not developed. The gap between people is really big. However, she also does not need to be released. Her attacks are basically melee, there is no ranged attack, and the external release technique is useless to her. She prefers internal destruction to external release. Once she has mastered the internal destruction, she can use the runter gun to attack the enemy's brain, directly destroying the enemy's brain and causing his death. Embers and Kaido were even more shocked to hear how difficult the internal destruction technique was. They couldn't have been clearer. They all mastered internal destruction, and it took a long time to master this technique. The Navy has a heroic Iron Fist Carp, and we 100 Beasts can also produce an Iron Fist in the future. Monsters, Runyuan. You tell him. As long as he is strong, I let him do the big billboard. Let's call it a natural disaster. Kaido waved his hand and said proudly, I'm going to be a big Kanban too. Runyuan shouted. Ha ha ha. When you are strong in the future, challenge the big Kanban to succeed. I'll just let you be the big board. Kaido seems to be rough, but in fact he is very shrewd, and giving Suyu's promise of natural disasters is to win over Suyu. The people who joined the 100 Beasts regiment halfway through were certainly not as loyal as Runyuan, who had grown up in the 100 Beasts regiment since childhood. However, Kaido does not need to be faithful as long as it can be used by him. He believed that with his own strength, he could suppress all disobedience. That's the confidence that comes from the strongest creatures. Kaido shouted loudly, and the pirates on the Ghost Island all heard Kaido's voice. For a time, many pirates began to talk about who was the natural disaster in Kaido's mouth. Natural disaster. Louder than the name of the Three Plagues Lord, who can have such a title. It must be a strong man who has been famous for a long time, and our 100 Beast regiment is getting stronger and stronger. Will the natural disaster have recently become famous redheads? Probably not. The bonus for red hair has been 2 billion. And I heard that Red Hair also wants to become the Emperor of the Sea. Just by him, a guy with a broken arm who also wants to become the Emperor of the Seas. If he becomes the Emperor of the Seas, I will eat the Ghost Island. It's forbidden to cheat and drink. You eat Ghost Island, where does Boss Kaido go? Chapter 16. The next day, early morning, in the mining field, Suyu was blindfolded and moved his feet, dodging the stones thrown by Peggy 1. Seeing that the domineering cultivation was simple and rough, after knowing the way to get started, he constantly dodged and understood in battle. This is the fastest known way to understand what you have seen. Peggy even threw out the stones extremely fast, each with the sound of a whistling wind, which could be embedded in the wall. Such a powerful stone smashed on ordinary people, at least a blood hole will be smashed out. But falling on Suyu's body was like tickling. Do you really need to cultivate the domineering spirit of seeing and hearing? I don't feel like anyone can hurt you. Peggy couldn't help but say. He had truly seen how hard Suyu's steel skin was, and his previous doubts about Suyu had been completely erased. No, there are people in this world who can hurt me. Suyu knew how big the world was. The Emperor of the Seas, the Admiral, the leader of the Goming army, and so on. These top powerful people can break through his defenses. Although the steel skin is strong, it is not invincible, and perhaps when he becomes strong in the future, he will develop the Black-Winged Demon Fruit to an astonishing degree, and he will be immune to their attacks. Before that, he needs to see and hear. Seeing and hearing domineering can perceive the attack, predict the next move of the opponent, perceive the strength of the enemy, emotions and thinking, and can also perceive the position and a number of objects outside the field of vision. Cultivating to the extreme, you can predict the future to the extent. For example, Category and the Big Mama Pirates can predict the future. Kaido also showed the ability to predict the future when he fought Luffy. Armed color domineering and seeing color domineering complement each other, one is indispensable, and if the two major domineering spirits are raised to a high level, they can gain a firm foothold in the new world and become a strong person. Shiza came from behind Suyu, and his body subconsciously wanted to dodge to the left. Boom! The stone fell to the ground and did not hit Suyu. Peggy 1 threw out 5 or 6 more stones and attacked Suyu from all directions. Suyu's body moved for a short distance, dodging these stones one by one. "You're getting started?" Peggy even said in surprise. "How long has this been going on?" "More than 2 hours." "How long did it take you to understand what you saw and smelled?" Peggy 1 thought about it, a toothache, and was very envious of Suyu's talent. What a monster, even more monstrous than his sister. Not yet. Suyu felt that it was still a little bit worse, really only a little bit worse. Seeing and smelling domineering was in front of him, and he could touch it at any time. Runyuan stood to the side, quietly watching the two of them cultivate. The level of surprise in her heart was no less than that of Peggy 1, but she had already prepared herself. Suyu's armed color domineering talent is so strong, and the talent of seeing and hearing color domineering should not be weak. Just like Carp, he has the strongest armed color, and his appearance is not as good as that of armed color, but it is also similar. This talent is simply born of innate cultivation domineering. Born domineering. Naval Headquarters. Marin Fando. Inside the Marshal's office, the Warring States casually threw a useless document to the sheep on the ground. Ares chewed up the document and swallowed it. Natural disaster. Who is it that can make Kaido give the title of natural disaster? Sengoku rubbed his eyebrows. Early this morning, the people who were undercover in the 100 Beasts Pirate Regiment sent him news. The 100 Beasts Regiment is suspected of having a strong person join, and the title is Natural Disaster. At present, there are not many powerful people with a very good reputation on the sea. The strongest of the Sea Emperors was the red-haired Shanks. Hopefully, it's not Shanks. Once the red-haired pirates join the 100 Beasts Pirates, the new world will set off another monstrous wave. After the 100 Beasts absorb the Redhead, the power will definitely surpass Whitebeard and Big Mama, and at that time, war will be inevitable. Boom. Sengoku, do you have any Xianbai here? The gate was rudely pushed open by Kerpu, and then he ignored the furious Warring States and began to rummage through the Xianbai. Sengoku took a deep breath and roared. Carp. Warring States, what are you shouting so loudly? Carp looked indifferent to find a generation of Xianbai and sat down in a chair to eat. Sengoku slammed the table. Carp. The 100 Beast Pirate Regiment has another strong man. Title of Nature. Carp's expression quickly became solemn. Is the news reliable? Absolutely reliable. If Kaido dares to make trouble, I will personally beat him back. Carp rubbed his fists. After Kaido was drunk, he would sometimes make trouble at the Shanghai military base, and even come to the naval headquarters to make trouble, and the Navy could not kill Kaido's, and could only reluctantly beat him back. The 100 Beast Pirate Regiment is originally very powerful, and this time it is strengthened, and I am afraid that Kaido will start a war and attack the G1 base. The G1 base is guarded by Red Dogs. This should be no problem. If Kaido really dares to start a war, let the Yellow Ape go to support first. I can support at any time. The 2 generals plus me are enough to repel Kaido. Carp analyzed. Oh, it's a terrible time. Sengoku sighed. Chapter 17. Near noon, Suyu finally understood the domineering spirit of seeing and smelling, and the breath of the beings around him suddenly floated in his heart. Peggy Even's breath is like a flame, and with just one introduction, it can make this flame more exuberant. Runyuan is also similar, that is, her breath is more powerful and more irritable than Peggy 1. Peggy 1 threw out 6 stones, which were easily dodged by Suyu, and he strolled close to Peggy 1. Got it? Peggy even threw out a few more stones. Suyu's body moved slightly, and he dodged all the stones, and while dodging, he approached Peggy 1. I don't believe that just after you understand what you see and hear, you can see through all my attack trajectories. Peggy 1's arm recovered quickly, throwing out stones. There were about 100 of them, and they densely blocked Suyu's upper and lower left and right. No matter which side you hide, you will also be hit by stones. There is a gap between the stones, Suyu whispered. He seemed to turn into a loach, advancing through the gaps between many stones, and not a single stone could touch him. Impossible. I haven't seen or heard of anything to this extent. Peggy even shouted impossible. Suyu had already passed through the stones and strolled in front of Peggy 1. Suyu reached out and removed the black silk cloth that was covering his eyes. I probably mastered the domineering spirit of seeing and smelling. No, you take it off. You just understand the domineering spirit so fast. It took 4 hours to understand. Just to understand the sight and smell has such a meticulous observation. Page-1 patted Suyu's abdomen and couldn't help but say. He wanted to pat Suyu's shoulder, but he wasn't tall enough, so he could only pat Suyu's abdomen. By the way, whose silk cloth is this? It's so yummy. Suyu asked casually, blindfolded. You can smell that special fragrance. Cut from my eldest sister's clothes. Little Pei. You dare to cut my clothes? Runyuan grabbed Peggy-1's head. Peggy-1's eyes were terrified. No, sister, don't. I was wrong. I will never dare again. You asked me to find a black cloth, and when I saw that there happened to be a black cloth on your clothes, I cut it off. Run up gun. Bang. Peggy-1 rolled her eyes and fell to the ground weakly. Runyuan squatted on the ground and patted Peggy-1 on the cheek, waking up Peggy-Van. After waking up, Peggy-1 stepped back with his arm around his body. Sister, don't come again. I'm going to be fooled by you. Xiao Pei, it's all your fault. That's my dress. And it's. A touch of red appeared on Runyuan's cheeks, and she didn't have the good sense to say it. She shook Peggy-Van's head vigorously. Suyu smiled and watched the two sisters and brothers playing with treasure. After the two siblings had been fighting for an hour, they finally stopped. Runyuan snatched the black silk cloth from Suyu's hand and put it into her clothes. This thing is mine, I can't give it to you. Suyu shrugged his shoulders. A piece of black silk cloth, even if it was a silk cloth, it was not worth his collection. Valuable for him to collect is Runyuan this person. Thank you for your teachings over the past 2 days, and I invite you to dinner. Suyu invited. Okay, the little girl wants to make a barbecue. Runyuan promised to come down. Peggy-1 was not happy at the sight. Just please sister, don't please me. I have been practicing with you for half a day today. Shouldn't you take me with you? Let's do it together. Hey, let's go. I know a Yakinaka restaurant in Wanaku is delicious. In the kebab shop, the three of them ate a lot of barbecue. Each of them ate a lot of barbecue. They are all animal-based ability, and their appetite is many times larger than that of the average person. The boss saw that they ate so much, and they were the pirates of the 100 Beasts regiment, and they couldn't help but be frightened. They won't fail to give money. If he really doesn't give money, then he will lose a lot. The boss was troubled in his heart, but he did not dare to interrupt their meal. The pirates of the 100 Beasts were all evildoers who licked blood on the tip of the knife, and he did not dare to provoke them. Boss, 10 more pieces of meat. Rest assured, I will give money. Suyu saw the boss's mind. He was not a good person, but he did not bully the owner of a small barbecue restaurant. It's good. The owner of the kebab shop brought 10 pieces of meat suspiciously. Peggy-1 ate a large mouthful of meat. His cheeks bulged into a basketball, and while chewing, he said, your talent is really enviable. Even if you don't work hard to cultivate, you can become a strong person. Suyu took the chopsticks and turned over the barbecue roll. No matter how strong the talent is, if you don't work hard to cultivate, you can't become the strongest. Just like Ling Ling. Ling Ling like that? You're talking about Big Mom. She is the emperor of the seas. It seems like that's just the way it is in your mouth. The corners of Peggy's mouth twitched. She was strong, but she had a chance to get stronger. Suyu said lightly. Ling Ling's talent is definitely the first in the nautical world, and her innate strength and unbreakable defense are enough to make her stand at the peak of the sea. Killed the giant bear at the age of 5, broke the ribs of the giant soldier at the age of 6, and the giant soldier's battle blade was cut on the skin of the 5-year-old Ling Ling but was broken. Did not like cultivation, indulged in giving birth to children and eating desserts, and rarely took the initiative to cultivate. When Luffy fought with her, she was 68 years old, and she already had 39 daughters and 46 sons, which shows that she spent most of her life giving birth to children. Especially after breaking away from the Locks pirate regiment, she basically stopped cultivating, and mastered the 3 color domineering spirits simply by relying on her own talent, including the overlord color domineering winding, becoming the emperor of the sea. If she took the initiative to cultivate and maintain the figure she had been in when she was young, her combat strength would never have been as great as it is now. The world's strongest position can compete. You want to be the strongest? That title was in Whitebeard's hands. Runty was surprised. Now Whitebeard's strength has not declined. He is the strongest man in the world. Even Kaido is extremely jealous of him, not the old man who can't even hide from his son during the war. People always have to have goals, don't they? Suyu smiled. It's also little girl's goal is to become a big kanban. Runyuan nodded. Chapter 18. You can definitely be a big kanban. But when I became the captain of the 100 Beasts. The previous sentence was said by Suyu to Runyuan, and the last sentence he said in his heart. After drinking and eating, Suyu bid farewell to the two and returned to his home. Walking on the road, the system's prompt sounded. Ding, congratulations to the host, reputation value exceeding 100. Get a little modified value. Suyu paused and then moved on. Open my panel. Host, Suyu. Strength, New World Pirate. Item, none. Abilities, Animal Lineage, S per species, Black Wing Demon Form. Armed Color Domineering, Beginner, Mastered Hardening, Winding, External Release, Internal Destruction Skills. See and Smell Domineering, Introductory. Follower, none. Prestige, 102. Your talent was given to Kaido and Ember by Runyuan. and the monster name sprouted, closing parenthesis. Modification points. 2. 1 modification point modifies the demon fruit ability once. 2 points to modify the value. Find an opportunity to modify Runyuan and Peggy-1. Suyu murmured in a low voice. If you modify Peggy-1 or Runyuan alone, you will definitely be noticed by another person. The sisters and brothers have such a good relationship, they grew up together, they are very familiar with each other, and they can detect a little change. Suyu didn't want to expose his abilities, at least not now. He's not strong enough. Once his ability to modify the demon fruit was passed on, it would surely alarm Whitebeard, Big Mama, and the world government, who would not allow anyone to have such terrible powers. Many powerful people attacked, and even Kaido could not save him. The strength is fascinating. The corners of Suyu's mouth rose. In the darkness of the night, Quinn received a message from Kaido, and when he heard that the young man he had recommended had mastered the two-color domineering spirit in 2 days, his eyes almost jumped out. 2 days to master the two-color domineering. Even more monster than Boss Kaido, Quinn muttered. On the orders of Boss Kaido, Quinn gathered all the official crew members in the Land of Peace the next day to hold a grand tournament. Test the strength of all regular crew members. The high and low of Dao Force cannot represent absolute combat strength, and the level of combat strength depends on many aspects, such as domineering, physical strength, and demon fruit. But the Dao strength is high, and the combat effectiveness must also be high. Dao Force affects the combat power. How can you suddenly hold a Dao strength test? I haven't held a similar contest before. A formal crew member scratched his head in disbelief. Who knows, maybe I want to select cadres through the competition. Unfortunately, I haven't exercised for a long time, and my strength may have declined. A pirate is a little distressed, and after he became a regular crew member, he transformed into a salted fish and indulged in the flower house all day. It's been 3 years since the last workout. Over the years, the body was destroyed by the flower building. Dao Li didn't know how much more. The cadres did not dare to have extravagant expectations, but only hoped to keep the position of the official crew. The pirates talked a lot, some excited and some decadent. The excited pirates are the guys who have been exercising for a long time and have been waiting for the opportunity to promote to cadres. Suyu Chao was not conspicuous in the crowd. He thought about it carefully, combined with the information given on the panel, and guessed that this must be Kaido's order. I wanted to test how far his Dao power was. He clenched his fists, surging with power flowing through his body. I'm also curious about how much power I have. Is there anything beyond Lobroki? My Dao strength must be higher than yours, and your armor color and sight color are strong, but your physique must be inferior to mine, Peggy-1 said confidently. He is also a regular crew member and has not yet become a cadre. Runyuan did not have to participate in this test, and the real fight already belonged to the cadres. He had already eaten the demon fruit, and he was still good at strength in the form of an ancient Spinosar, and his physique was far beyond that of ordinary people. Suyu's physical talent could not surpass that of him who ate the demon fruit. Who gave you confidence? Runyuan. Suyu laughed. Don't tell you that I am already a capable person. When did I say I wasn't a capable person? What? Peggy opened her mouth widely. You're also a capable one? What department? The Department of Animals. Is it an ancient species? No. Suyu looked at Page-1 with a smirk. It's not an ancient species. Peggy-1 breathed a sigh of relief. The ancient species must have brought greater improvement than the ordinary animal line. As for the Esper species, he didn't think about it. The number of Esper species is too rare, even rarer than the natural system. In the entire 100 Beasts pirate regiment, only Kaido Boss was an Esper species ability. I'm definitely better than you. Peggy even regained her confidence. Huh? Don't you believe it? Huh? No matter what Peggy-1 said, Suyu replied with a huh, which made Peggy-1 very annoyed. Seeing that Page-1 was already angry, Suyu suddenly said, if my Dao power is stronger than yours, you will find an opportunity to make me mold for 10 minutes. Okay, I must be better than you. Peggy-1 was annoyed, spoke without thinking, and immediately agreed. As soon as I finished speaking, I came back to God. I call you a friend, but you want to be my brother-in-law. Peggy's eyes widened. Chapter 19. Suyu waved his hand. No, you misunderstood. I didn't mean that. I just wanted to mold for 10 minutes. What a misunderstanding. That's what you think. Damn guys. You don't want to be responsible yet. Peggy even gritted his teeth. 10 minutes? What a joke. Let Runyuan know. She will definitely kill him. Peggy-1 shivered at the thought of Runyuan grabbing him and using the runter gun. It's going to die. Absolutely going to die. You've promised me, and if you regret it, I'll tell Runyuan that you betrayed her. Suyu smiled badly. No, I didn't betray my sister. Peggy shook her head repeatedly. No, you betrayed Runyuan. You promised me just now. Suyu said in a strong voice. You pit me. I'm helping you. Suyu had a sincere face. After he helped Runyuan and Page-1 modify the demon fruit, his strength soared, and it was not a dream to become a general-level being in the future. Wasn't he helping them? Fart. You're fooling me like a kid. This is where to help me. Page-1 comforted himself in his heart. He must be higher than Suyu's Dao power, otherwise he would die. On stage, Quinn danced an awkward dance, and countless pirates cheered. making the atmosphere lively. Then the pirates began to test the power in turns. Tested by a tall carder, the regular crew is not allowed to use weapons and simply attack the tall carder with fists and feet. Tall carders will sense your Dao force value, similar to the way Bbook tested Dao force. The first to be tested was a red-haired, formal pirate with large muscles and a strong look. He punched hard and hit the tall carders with all his might. Bang! After the fight, the red-haired pirate excitedly waited for his Dao power value. This is a rare testing opportunity. Who in the pirate regiment will give you nothing to test the power? Not strong? Then die on the battlefield. Those who are strong in battle will survive the war and continue to enjoy it in the land of peace. They themselves didn't know how much power they had. Through this test, you can see how much Dao power you have and how big the gap with others is. The tall guarder folded his hands and reported a number. 2,600 powers. The red-haired pirate laughed. Generally a naval soldier with a gun only has 10 points of power, and I have more than 2,000 powers. Isn't it equivalent to more than 200 naval soldiers? Shame on people. Roll down. Only 2,000 points of Daoli. Laugh something. Quinn snorted coldly. The red-haired pirate immediately closed his mouth and slipped back into the crowd. This is the new world, not the Four Seas. 2,000 Dao forces in the Four Seas is not bad. Ordinary in the new world can no longer be ordinary, that is, the level of ordinary pirates. Suyu pinched his chin, remembering that Bbook's 4,000 Dao force was called the strongest killing weapon in the history of CP9, the strongest in 800 years. Among them, there are reasons why CP9 is weak, and there are also reasons for the decay of CP9. The 4,000 Dao force Bbook was placed in the 100 Beast Regiment, and even the guarders could not compare. What a delayed genius. Suyu had a secret passage in his heart. Hidden in the capital of Seven Waters, Luke wasted his talent. Next, pirates went up to test one after another, and the results were not ideal. Far below Quinn's expectations. These people are just supporting characters today, and the real protagonist is the monster. From time to time, he glanced at Suyu and Page 1, guessing their Dao strength. Peggy 1 should be a little taller. Suyu's exercise time is too short. Give him 2 or 3 years. Should be able to surpass Peggy 1. Quinn whispered in his heart. Dao force 3,000 inches. Dolly 2,360 inches. Dooley 3,105 inches. Dolgen 1,900. Roll. Stripped of their status as a regular crew member, all wastes with less than 2,000 Dao strength are not eligible to become the official crew members of the 100 Beasts Regiment. Quinn shouted angrily. Some rejoiced and some were sad, and the pirates who had been stripped of their official crew status wanted to cry without tears. In particular, there is a pirate whose Dao force is 1998, which is only 2 points away from the 2,000 Dao force. This is 2 points worse, and his official crew status is gone. Soon, it was Peggy 1's turn. He confidently ascended to the stage, and the pirates around him were all concentrating when they saw him. The younger brother of Zendaran. They all knew each other. I heard that he is a capable person, raised by Boss Kaido since he was a child, and his Dao strength must not be weak. Runyuan Zen hit the 17-year-old when she became a real hit, as her younger brother. Weak not much. Peggy heard the pirates talking, laughed involuntarily, and unleashed the fruit ability. The body became larger, the abdomen became light brown, and the rest of the body became dark brown, and the skin's defenses were greatly enhanced. The head resembles a dinosaur, with half of its purple hair, fangs, hands and feet turned into claws, and a tail grows behind it. It was Peg Ivan's orc form. Orcs turned upside down will be card reviewed. Roar. Peggy Wynn let out a loud roar, forming a shockwave that spread round. It's so ugly. The purple hair on your head seems to be flying. Suyu couldn't help but say. Page Wynn was speechless and glared at Suyu viciously. The other pirates were all stunned, daring to talk to Peg Even like this. Who is he? I'm getting stronger. This is the power of the ancient species. Such an ugly transformation. I don't want it. Suyu fanned his hand in disgust. Or his own black-winged demon form handsome. I said that I hadn't changed yet. After testing the Dao force. Do you want to transform? Chapter 20. Ahem. I hope that after you see my strength, you can still say such arrogant words. Peggy 1 snorted coldly. Gathering the strength of his whole body and concentrating on his fist, Peggy 1 threw a punch. The tall carder in charge of the test changed his face slightly. His hands folded, his eyes became larger, and he was surprised. Dao Li, 5,600 points. More than 5,000 points of Dao power. What a strong guy. He's only 15 years old. After a few more years of growth, the strength will definitely increase significantly. 15 years old is the time to grow a body. This is the time when the exercise effect is the best, and it will become a real fight in a few years. The talent of the sisters and brothers is really good. So young but they have amazing strength. Oh, and V. Quinn had expected this. And Peg Even's strength was low, and he would be surprised. He was well aware of the effect of the ancient species, and he was also an ancient species ability. Peg Even, work hard for 2 more years and you'll be qualified to be a real hit. Quinn said. Peggy 1 grinned, even uglier. After he stepped down, it was Suyu's turn to test Dao's strength. Quinn also focused his attention on him. A monster. He was also granted the title of natural disaster by Kaido in advance. How high will his Dao power be? Suyu slowly walked to the tall Kaido. Casually fight as much as you want, and release as much power as you want. The tall Kaido said casually. He did not believe that anyone in the official crew could injure him. Suyu squeezed his fist and handed his fist, without a trace of dragging mud with water. Bang! The fist hit the tall Kaido hard in the abdomen. It's like a meteor smashing the earth. The tall Kaido's face suddenly changed, and his body kept retreating. Cheers! The ground was marked by the feet of the tall Kaidos, and the feet retreated by about 10 meters. Sizzle tilde. The tall Kaido gritted his teeth. This blow really hurt. If he hadn't sensed the difference between Suyu and urgently mobilized his muscle defenses when he was hit by a fist, he might have been beaten and rolled his eyes. He folded his hands and read a number that surprised all the pirates present. 9,000 Dao forces. Quinn was overjoyed, worthy of the monster mentioned by Boss Kaido, 15 years old and 9,000 Dao force. In the future, the lowest can also become a big kanban. Coupled with Suyu's talents, it was not impossible for the combat strength to climb to the top of the sea. Good. Your name is Suyu, right? Boss Kaido already knows your talent and promises to give you the title of natural disaster when you are strong. Quinn said. Thank you. Suyu agreed. His goal is not a natural disaster. This natural disaster is still more appropriate for Kaido to be. The Green Dragon disaster is a good fit, isn't it? The pirates below were taken aback and set off a terrifying wave in their hearts. The natural disaster is the title of the big kanban, which is under one person and above 10,000 people in the 100 Beasts pirate regiment. Only Kaido can command the big kanban, and all the other pirates are commanded by the big kanban, including real hits. Natural disasters? Will he become a strong man like Boss Quinn in the future? Akada said in disbelief. 15 years old and 9,000 Dao forces. I heard that I have also mastered the two-color domineering, and the armed color domineering is even closer to the degree of internal destruction, and this talent has become a nail in the coffin. Another pirate said. After Suyu tried to destroy the interior that day, he sighed in disappointment, causing many pirates to mistakenly think that he had not succeeded. Unbeknownst to them, Suyu had successfully learned internal destruction that day. Sigh is to sigh that the amount of domineering is too low. Monster, the 100 Beasts have ushered in another monster. Peggy One froze among the pirates, and Suyu's words kept ringing in his head. Runyuan saw his stunned look, thought he had been hit by Suyu, and went to comfort Page One. Xiao Pei, don't be discouraged. You are also very strong. He is a monster, not a normal person. You don't want to compare with him. Runyuan gently comforted. Page One looked at Runyuan with complicated eyes, and he wanted to say that he was not discouraged, nor was he hit by Suyu's Dao power. The reason that made him stunned was Suyu's words. Looking for an opportunity to make Suyu run for 10 minutes? Or did he simply refuse? And then Suyu told Runyuan of his promise. No matter what kind, Runyuan knows it, and it is all dead. Fantasizing about herself being hit halfway by the head gun, Peggy Van's body shook and shook her head violently, throwing the terrible picture out of her head. Sister, I'm sorry, Peggy Van whispered. Runyuan rubbed Peggy One's head, thinking that Peggy One was saying that he had disappointed her, and Dao Li was surpassed by Suyu. It doesn't matter, no matter what, you're my brother, Runyuan said comfortingly. Really? Really? No matter what happens, you're my brother, and I don't blame you. That's fine, Peggy One whispered. I hope Runyuan doesn't beat him to death in anger. He was also forced to be helpless, and blamed Suyu for using the trick to trick him. What do you say? Runyuan didn't hear Peggy Van clearly and asked. Nothing. I mean, he seems to be an animal-based ability, but he hasn't used his ability to test Dao power just now. Peggy One pointed to Suyu on the stage. Suyu did not have any animal features on his body. Chapter 21. Runyuan heard Peggy One's words and remembered that Suyu was a capable person. A few days ago, Suyu had not transformed during her cultivation, and she had shown a powerful talent, which almost caused her to forget that Suyu was a capable person. I remember that his ability is Bats, a very ordinary animal ability. Even if he transforms, he can't strengthen much strength. Runyuan said subconsciously. Bats are not strong, and the only thing worth praising is speed and sonic ability. The two of them were not speaking in low voices, and were naturally heard by Quinn. Quinn looked at Suyu, and Boss Kaido was interested in Suyu's talent, not fruit ability. Fruit ability does not represent everything. Like the waist of the black charcoal snake, it has an extremely rare per species, the Yagi great snake fruit, but its strength is at most at the level of real fighting. It's not even at the top of the list in real hits. Can you show the power of your fruit ability? Quinn said. Yes, Suyu nodded. He also wanted to try the power of the black wing demon. The tall Kaido turned his head to look at Quinn, and there was a hint of longing in his eyes. Boss Quinn, can you change someone? No. The tall Kaido wanted to cry without tears. Suyu in the ordinary state already had 9,000 Dao forces. How much Dao power would there be after using the ability? He won't be killed. He gathered all his strength, made a defense, and held his breath. Come on, let me see your full strength. Block it, Black Wing Demon. Bang! The sky rumbled, and the originally clear and cloudless sky was instantly covered with dark clouds, and rolling thunder exploded in the dark clouds to form a unique symphony. Thick darkness spreads. Dark raindrops fell from the sky, and in a few moments they blackened the earth. The pirates looked up and shouted in surprise, "What happened?" It would rain black in the sky. It was so strong that I felt that my breathing had become much more difficult, as if there was a big mountain pressed on my shoulders. Some pirates are trembling, their backs are cold, and fear and great terror envelop their hearts. It is as if there are dark monsters hidden in the rolling clouds, ready to break through the clouds and destroy the world. He caused it. Look at his form. A pirate pointed at Suyu on the stage and shouted. On the stage, Suyu's appearance and breath have undergone earth-shaking changes. Suyu had a pair of large dark wings behind his back, just like the wings of a demon, and his clothes also changed, a white robe, a double-horned helmet on his head, and his hands turned into demon claws. The look in his eyes was indifferent, as if he did not put any living beings in his eyes, and death could not make him fluctuate a little. The tear marks under his eyes added a touch of mystery to him. He was like a condensation of death and despair, which made people fearful, and it was as if they were dead. Two messages appeared in Suyu's mind, making him realize the virtual flash and the virtual bullet. Virtual flash is a trick that can only be used by the Great Void and the level of the Great Void, and the spiritual pressure of the Great Void is concentrated in an instant, forming a flash with great destructive ability. There is no spirit pressure in this world, so Suyu only needs to use his own physical strength to release the Void Flash, and he can also wrap the armed color domineering chi around it to form a stronger attack. The Void Bullet is similar to the Void Flash, but it is 20 times faster than the Void Flash, but it is much less powerful. The speed of the virtual bullet is extremely fast, and if it attacks continuously, it can form an 8-foot Kyangu attack similar to that of the Yellow Ape. The difference was that the Yellow Ape's 8-foot Kyangu emitted countless golden energy bombs, and his virtual bullets were black energy bombs. So strong, Suyu said silently in his heart. In this state, his strength in all aspects has increased tenfold. It is worthy of the Blackwing demon that has been modified by the system. He has not yet developed, and he has such a strong improvement. Quinn forced himself to endure panic in his heart, and this desperate breath affected even him. If it weren't for the preservation of his own face, he would have gasped for breath. It was horrible. This is definitely not an ordinary animal ability. That pirate lied to me. Quinn remembered the tall skinny pirate who had told him 2 days before that Suyu was just an ordinary animal bat fruit. Is this bat fruit? Bat fruit has such big wings? These are clearly demonic wings. Definitely an Esper species, or the top being among the Esper species. Kaido Boss's green dragon form didn't have such a big impact. He looked at the tall, thin pirate next to him, his eyes unkind. The tall skinny pirates were all dumbfounded, and when they looked at Quinn's terrifying eyes, he couldn't help but shiver. Desperate in his heart, he really didn't lie. At the beginning, Suyu was a bat fruit. He also saw Suyu's transformation. It is to become an ordinary bat, without such a big movement and terrifying form. Below, Runiyuan pinched Peggy 1, and the pained Peggy 1 grinned. Runiyuan muttered, "Really, I thought I was hallucinating." "Sister, you suspect that you are hallucinating? Don't pinch yourself, pinch me." Peggy was speechless. "Sister, didn't you say he was an ordinary animal Batman? This place is like a Batman, and this wing does not look like a bat. More like a legendary demon." It also caused such a big movement, it was terrible. Chapter 22. Runiyuan scratched her head in doubt. Could it be that Boss Quinn had lied to her? Why lie to her? Peggy 1 was more concerned that Suyu was actually an Esper species, and he felt too humiliated when he remembered that he had just shown off his ancient species to Suyu. The face is gone. He finally understood why when he showed off the ancient species, Suyu's face was flat. Suyu's ability was countless times more precious than the ancient species, and the number of demon fruits in the natural system was even rarer. Of course, he didn't care about his ancient species. Damn it. Let him load it. At this moment, Suyu on the stage spread his black wings, and the thick breath of death rushed around, forming a shock wave. Suyu moved. In the next instant, he appeared in front of the tall Kada, and his fist was already clenched. The pupils of the tall Kadas shrank suddenly, so fast. Boom. Suyu handed out his fist, and the dark fist smashed heavily on the abdomen of the tall Kada. The tall Kada flew upside down, and his face swelled into the color of pig's liver. After flying out of the 100 meters, it hit the wall before stopping. Sizzle tilde. The tall Kada gritted his teeth and inhaled a cool breath, and the sharp pain coming from his abdomen made his face twist a little. It's so powerful. This blow has 50,000. As soon as the words of the tall Kada came out, an uproar was set off. The pirates looked at Suyu in disbelief. 50,000 Dao power. The naval soldiers armed with guns only had 10 points of Dao strength, and Suyu actually had 50,000 Dao powers. His casual punch is more powerful than a cannonball. This power can already become real fight. You didn't use your full strength. I felt it. You gathered your strength when you were about to hit me. The tall Kada said. Why collect strength? There is only one possibility. Suyu felt that that punch would kill him, so I collected some of the power. That's right. Suyu received 50% of the power. If you go all out, The tall Cardas will be cold now. Amazing. The tall Cardas could not help but praise. Quinn stood up with satisfaction and laughed. Sure enough, it is a monster, so talented. Even the fruit ability is an extremely rare esper species. The name of natural disaster is very compatible with you. Quinn grabbed the tall, skinny pirate and questioned. Didn't you say his fruit ability is the ability of an animaloid bat? Why did it become an esper species? The tall thin pirate trembled. Boss Quinn, I don't know why. He was a bat fruit before. Waste. Are you trying to say that he can change the form of the devil fruit? What a joke. Quinn yelled. What demon fruit do you eat? You can't change in that lifetime. Only when you die will the power of a demon fruit disappear from your body. Don't blame him. I said to him about the bat fruit. So you said suddenly. Yes, Boss Quinn, it's the bat fruit he told me about. The tall thin pirate said hurriedly. Syllable. Quinn slapped the tall thin pirate with a slap. Life or death unknown. He walked up to Suyu, and the two fought against each other, and Suyu's momentum was like a towering sacred mountain, overpowering Quinn. Quinn secretly marveled in his heart. So strong. What is your demon fruit called? Black-winged demon. Animal line, bat fruit, esper species, black-winged demon form. Have not heard of this name. Go back and ask Boss Kaido. Quinn thought about it. He didn't know the fruit. There is also a demon fruit catalog within 100 Beasts, which Jack is responsible for statistical collection. Because in normal times, the embers of the fire will stay on the Ghost Island, and he will stay in the country of Wano to suppress the riots. Jack will often go out to sea in search of demon fruits to enhance the strength of the 100 Beasts pirate regiment. The natural devil fruit was edited by Jack. Very good. In a few days you and Runiyuan will go to sea for a trip, and when you come back, you will be promoted to a real fight. Quinn said. As a pirate, strength is on the one hand, but also have fierce means and hearts, so as to deter those brutal pirates. Quinn meant to let him go out to sea and grab something to come back, so that he could justifiably promote Suyu to real fight. Let the other real fights have nothing to say, and at the same time, they can also equip Suyu with some subordinates. As for grabbing more or less stuff, it doesn't matter, as long as the strength is enough. Just fool around. Okay, Suyu nodded. How much force did you just use? 50%. Quinn didn't ask Suyu about his other abilities. The esper species must have special abilities, as can be seen from Kaido's green dragon fruit. But Suyu obviously didn't want to show it, and Quinn didn't ask. Quinn left in his own wheelbarrow, and he couldn't wait to tell Boss Kaido about the Su royal beast species. The test also came to an end, and some of the official pirates who had not yet had time to test it were confused. I haven't tested it yet, so how did it end? An official crew member who intended to behave shouted. He worked hard for years and waited for this opportunity. As a result, the opportunity slipped away quietly in front of him. Chapter 23. Hey, we're all green leaves. It's all about setting off that esper species. There's a esper species. How can Boss Quinn have the heart to stay here and test? A pirate who travels to and from the flower house for many years is ecstatic in his heart. It is very likely that his Tao power is no longer 2000, and after the test, he will be removed from the status of a regular crew member, and he will work with a trainee crew. Esper species are so rare, our 100 Beasts regiment has actually produced another one, and in the future we will become stronger and stronger. Captain Kaido will definitely become One Piece. Such a strong esper species, the ability to launch the fruit has caused such a big movement, and I am still in a panic in my heart. 50% of the power has 50,000 Tao forces, and 10% of them don't have 100,000 or even more Tao forces. The esper species is also too strong, directly increasing the strength by 10 times. Suyu on the stage lifted the transformation, and he found that the black-winged demon who did not change his body could also use virtual flashes and virtual bullets. These two abilities had been fully learned by him and could be unleashed at any time. After the test, the pirates also scattered one after another, and Suyu walked over to Peggy-wan and whispered in his ear, "Don't forget your promise. I'll give you 2 days, preferably tonight." Suyu's voice was low, and only Peggy-wan heard his voice. The corners of Peggy's mouth twitched, and her heart was still very hesitant. "Your boy really has ulterior motives for my sister. Tonight? No way. Can't stay at night. It has to be daytime." Peggy-wan thought to himself. "Do you want to get stronger?" Suyu said suddenly. "Of course I want to get stronger. Who wouldn't want to get stronger?" Peggy-wan rolled his eyes. "The sea is respected by strength, and with strength, you can do whatever you want. From ordinary people to sea emperors, they all want stronger power. Even a whitebeard is not exempt. I can give you a chance, when you fulfill your promise." Suyu smiled mysteriously. "I feel like you have a conspiracy." "How could it be?" As night fell, darkness swept across the earth. Peggy-wan and Runiyuan were having dinner, and he handed Runiyuan a glass of water. "Sister, drink water." "Ugh, little Pei has grown up. I know that my sister is hurting." Runiyuan did not suspect it and drank all of Peggy-wan's water. Peggy-wan swallowed his saliva and said secretly in his heart, "Sister, I didn't mean it. Although Suyu, this boy has a little black heart, but his character should be quite okay, and he will not have a bad heart for you." There was a medicine he had secretly put in the water, enough to put down 10 elephants. No toxins, only hypnotic effects. Even a strong person like Runyuan will be drowsy. In fact, he was not ready to pit Runyuan. The two grew up dependent on each other. He would rather be injured himself than let Runyuan be injured. But Suyu made a condition that he could not refuse. With the talents of your sisters and brothers, it is difficult to become a top strong person, and you should know it very well. At present, the beings standing at the peak of the sea are all monsters, and they have shown a good talent when they are young, so they can come to the sea, or become the emperor of the sea or become the admiral of the navy. And you guys, the limit is at most the level of the big Kanban. The limit of Runyuan is a little higher than yours, and the high is also limited. I can help you change all that, just get your promise done. Suyu said to him with a serious face. It did not seem to be lying. Peggy One Ghost made the gods believe Suyu's words and awakened to fulfill the promise. He wanted to get the strength to protect Runyuan, and he also wanted to make Runyuan strong. The most important thing was that he didn't see that kind of evil in Suyu's eyes. He didn't care too much about Runyuan's appearance. Although I don't know what your purpose is, as long as your purpose doesn't hurt your sister, I won't hinder you, Peggy One said silently in her heart. Half an hour later, the medicinal effect came into play, and Runyuan beat Hash, and the eyelids could not stop fighting. Xiao Pei, I went back to the house to sleep first. Well, you have a good rest. Peggy One's eyes flickered, and after Runyuan returned to the house, he went to Suyu's residence and informed him. Suyu had not yet rested, and after Peggy One arrived, he immediately noticed it. The corners of his mouth rose. The first experimental product is coming. Let me see how lucky you are in Peggy One. According to the system, modifying the demon fruit into an Esper species, the strength and weakness are all by luck. Similar Esper species will be extended according to the original demon fruit ability. For example, if he wants to modify the thunder fruit of Aniru, then after the modification, the Esper species will have a high probability of carrying the power of thunder. Esper species are also strong and weak, such as Joba's animal line, human fruit, humanoid. The strength of this fruit is low and scary, and Kaido's green dragon fruit, Luffy's Niku form is too different. Of course, the system will not modify the Esper species that are too weak, and each one will not be weak enough. Boom boom. Peggy One knocked on Suyu's door. Enter. The door was opened and Peggy One walked in hooded. I've come to fulfill my promise, and I hope you haven't lied to me, Peggy One said in a deep voice. Rest assured, after tonight, your sisters and brothers will be reborn. Suyu smiled mysteriously. Let's go. Go to your quarters. The two took advantage of the night to walk on a deserted remote path, and Peggy One was very nervous and looking forward to the method Suyu said to become stronger. Chapter 24. Half an hour later, the two walked for 10 minutes. Outside the house, Peggy One stopped and turned her head to stare at Suyu. I'm going to fight you. I want to know how far away I am from you, Peggy even whispered. Yes. Suyu raised an eyebrow and gladly agreed. He also happened to want to test Peggy Even's actual combat ability. Roar. Peggy One let out a low roar and transformed into a spiny-backed dragon, about 20 meters tall, with a crimson back spine on its back and a huge tail swinging around behind it. Step on. Peggy stomped on the ground. The ground trembled. His strength was greatly improved, and his ability to resist blows was also increased several times. In this state, although the agility is low, the destructive power is greatly improved. Suyu was not in a hurry. Aren't you afraid of waking up Runyuan? If you can't wake up, don't worry about fighting me. Peggy One roared, opened his blood basin mouth, and rushed towards Suyu, as if it were a small mountain. If you can't wake up, you'll just have to wake up. Suyu's leg muscles were forceful, his body ejected out, and he stretched out a hand and pressed it on Peggy One's head. Let me try how strong you are. Suyu slammed hard, and Peggy One's body slammed down, and a bang was pressed to the ground, emitting a huge roar. The sleeping Runyuan in the room moved her ears, but she did not wake up, and turned over and kicked off the quilt. It seems a little weak. Suyu teased. Don't get too proud. Peggy One exploded with strength, lifting up Suyu, and the giant tail struck hard with a whistling sound. Suyu's arms blocked, and as soon as he touched, a huge force hit his heart through his arms. What a power! You in this state. The strength is not inferior to mine, Suyu said. It's not over yet. Peggy One's head flew away, trying to hit Suyu. Suyu held out a finger, and the dark green flash condensed on the fingertip. What a trick this is, Peggy Wonksin said. Without waiting for him to react, the virtual flash of dark green landed on Peggy Even's abdomen, leaving a deep mark. Cheers! Peggy Even's massive body retreated one after another. Bang! The flash caused an explosion, and billowing smoke enveloped Peggy Even's massive body. Good power. The flicker of the hand is several times more powerful than the Navy's cannon. Suyu was more satisfied with this. It shouldn't be dead yet. The spiny back dragon form has a strong defensive power. Suyu's voice had just fallen, and a figure rushed out of the billowing smoke, which was Peggy One in the form of an orc. In this state, Peggy Even's strength is weakened, but it is faster and her recovery ability is also stronger. Peggy One swept his legs, and more than a dozen consecutive attacks failed to hit Suyu. Every time he attacked, Suyu was able to dodge dangerously and dangerously. See and hear. He saw and heard more than I could, Peggy One said in his heart. After dodging Peggy One's attack, Suyu quickly struck Peggy 1 in the abdomen, causing Peggy 1 to spit out a few mouthfuls of acid. Peggy 1 also seized the opportunity and forced himself to punch Suyu in the cheek with pain. Suyu's body fell backwards, trying to dodge this punch. Syllable. Suyu frowned slightly, unable to move, and something underneath stuck his foot. He looked down and saw that Peggy 1's tail had wrapped around his leg when he punched just now. Can't hide from it. I'm waiting for this opportunity. It's been a long time. Peggy 1 wrapped a layer of black around her arm. He used armed color domineering. I know that your talent is strong, and I have learned the high-level use of armed color domineering in one day, but I don't believe that your domineering strength has also surpassed mine. Peggy 1 had been cultivating the armed color for some time, and the intensity was far greater than when he had just cultivated. Suyu grinned, and the armed color domineering attached to his face. Bang! The two men collided with each other's armed colors, and the dark energy splashed around. The next second, Peggy 1 closed his hand, the armed color receded, and a trace of scar appeared on his fist. Peggy 1's face changed dramatically. How can your armed color be so strong? Suyu raised a finger, and a dark green virtual bullet formed. Is there a possibility that you are too weak? No. Don't. Peggy 1 said hurriedly. Before he could finish speaking, the false bullet exploded. Thick smoke enveloped the bodies of the two men, and the shockwave spread, sending off the gravel on the ground. The leaves of the surrounding trees were all shaken and flew, fluttering with the wind, and finally scattered on the ground. Cough. Peggy 1 covered her mouth, coughed incessantly, and walked out of the smoke in total darkness. Hey, you're in the blast range too. What a shame. You're too fierce. If I hadn't covered my abdomen with the color of the arm, I would have died with that blow. Suyu waved his hand. The strong wind blew away the white smoke. He was unscathed, and there was no scar on his skin. It was as if he hadn't been blown up just now. Peggy 1 saw his look, and his face changed to a character. Forget that you have steel skin. What rogue talent. Still fighting? Suyu smiled and looked at Peggy 1. Peggy 1 waved her hand. Don't fight. Don't fight. I will take out all my strength and even you can't beat the normal. What else to fight? I thought I could force out your transformation. He knew he would lose before he fought, and his purpose was only to force out Suyu's transformation. Unexpectedly, he was not even an opponent of the normal Suyu, and Suyu had a relaxed face, as if he had not shown the full strength of the normal at all. This made Peggy 1 a little disappointed. Is it time to fulfill your promise? Chapter 25. Peggy 1 led Suyu into the room. Sister is in the innermost room. You can go in for 10 minutes. But under my eyes. Let me help you get stronger first. Suyu said. Help me get stronger first. How to get stronger? Peggy wondered. Suyu reached out and grabbed Peggy 1's hand. Peggy 1's eyes widened. Your target won't be me. Apparently for his sister, the real target is actually him? How could there be such an evil guy? Shut up. I'm helping you get stronger. Suyu drank low. Peggy 1 subconsciously shut up, still muttering in his heart what Suyu was thinking. Suyu thought silently in his heart. System, modify Peggy 1's demon fruit. Confirm the modification of Peggy 1's demon fruit. Name, Peggy 1. Abilities, animal dragon fruit, ancient Spinosaurus form, armed color domineering, beginner, master hardening technique, seeing and smelling color domineering, introductory. Talents, advanced armed color domineering talent, intermediate sighting and hearing color domineering talent. Talent levels are divided into primary, intermediate, advanced, top, and beyond. Peggy 1's demon fruit ability is being modified. Please do not let go of Peggy 1's hand, so as not to cause the system modification to fail. The voice of the system sounded in Suyu's head. After seeing Peggy 1's panel, Suyu was a little surprised that Peggy 1's armed color talent could reach the high level. Don't know where the limits of this advanced talent are. Time passed little by little, and Peggy 1 was very puzzled. What did Suyu mean by holding his hand and holding it? Won't you go in and model, sister? Peggy 1 asked. Wait a minute. Suyu said. What are you doing? Suddenly, Peggy 1's body seemed to be electrocuted, and her body shook violently. Then he fell to the ground and let out a thudding sound. The corners of Suyu's mouth rose, and the modification was successful. Ding! Congratulations on the successful modification of the host. Peggy 1's demon fruit is modified to animal dragon fruit, Esper species evil dragon spits form. Ding! Successfully got a subordinate. The system upgrade was successful. With this upgrade, the data panel displays more detailed data. Suyu was stunned. It was the evil dragon spits. But it was unexpected. The evil dragon Spitz is from the dungeon, one of the 3 dragons created by the Tyrannosaurus King Bbook in order to conquer the continent of Arad. Spitz has an immortal body, and even if he is defeated and his body is divided into countless pieces, he can still be resurrected. It is very difficult, and there are forces that control death and darkness. In the past life, when Suyu played underground, he often brushed evil dragons. I didn't expect that one day the evil dragon would become his subordinate. What a fate. Name, Peggy 1. Loyalty, 100%. Abilities, animal dragon fruit, Esper species spits form, armed color domineering, introductory, master hardening skills, seeing and hearing color domineering, introductory. Talents, Top armed color domineering talent, advanced seeing and hearing color domineering talent. Talent levels are divided into beginner, intermediate, advanced, top, and beyond. After seeing Peggy 1's panel, Tsuyu was a little surprised, and did not expect that after modifying the demon fruit, even the talent had improved a little. Both the armed color domineering talent and the seeing color domineering talent were raised by one order. The top-notch armed color domineering talent is not much on the C. Ding asked the host to choose an ability or talent other than the demon fruit. The system sounds. System, why aren't my talents displayed? Tsuyu asked in his heart. The host has not modified someone else's demon fruit before, the system has not been upgraded, and the system panel is missing. View my panel. Host, Tsuyu. Strength, a famous pirate in the New World. Item, none. Abilities, animal system, S per species, black wing demon form, steel skin, void flash, void bullet. Armed color domineering, elementary, see and smell color domineering. Introductory talents, beyond grade armed color domineering talent, top seeing and hearing color domineering talent, transcendent level overlord color domineering talent. Follower, Peggy 1, animaloid dragon fruit, a spitz form of S per species. Prestige, 860, show monster-like talent, your name and are remembered by the people of the 100 beasts, and the Navy has heard about you. Closing parenthesis. Modification point, 1 modification point modifies the demon fruit ability once. It turned out that his domineering talent was so high, and the armed color and the overlord color had reached the transcendent level, which was already the limit of the seafaring world. There is also a top talent for seeing and hearing colors. System, my talent is so strong, after absorbing Peggy 1's talent, is there any benefit? Tsuyu asked in his heart. Peggy 1 is still in her formative stage, and there is nothing on her body that is worth remembering. Whether talented or domineering, he is above Peggy 1. Absorbing Peggy 1's domineering or talent strengthens the host's talent and domineering, helping you reach the next level faster. The system says, draw Peggy 1's top armed color domineering talent. Tsuyu said silently in his heart. The transcendence level was already the highest, but Tsuyu wanted to see if he could surpass this level. If you like this audiobook, subscribe the channel for more videos like this. And join my Patreon if you want to support me, link in the description. Leave some comment and let me know if you guys like this story, or you have a web novel you like and want to hear its audiobook. I will be happy to create them for you. Please like, share, and leave a comment on the video.